Oh, low battery. Well, I don't know how the battery's going to do. That was kind of rough. I'm hoping that back end of it doesn't come back around. Golly, I thought it was going to flip that little camper. That didn't work out so well. Let's see if I can plug this up, man. There we go. Okay. Well, so then there was that. Woo! A minute ago, it was the tail end of some rough stuff here. Man, I'm gonna I don't know. Let's see if I can even get this radio to work again. It was giving me all these alerts. I just turned the dang thing off. Let's see what we got here. No audio source. Okay. Can't do anything about that. Man, there's gotta be something good on the radio. I'm gonna have to move the audio to the back. I'm just doing a little check-in real quick. I'm alive. That's what I can say. And I don't know if this tornado is over yet because it's still rocking me. This is, I got 2 lights. I ain't even done nothing yet. Well, let's see here. Man. Man. I'll get at you in a minute. This was nerve-wracking. I was just trying to set something up and it was raining so hard a minute ago, but like now it's even rocking me sideways. The tornado threat is not over, and this is the Midwest. Those things drop just out of nothing, so it don't even matter that it's not raining at this second. It's hard. I mean, it was really hard a little bit ago. That a tornado, they're saying that it's an actual tornado that they know is here. Several of them, I guess, or whatever, and there was a big warning all over my phone, and everybody's phones go off. All these other truck drivers waking me up. They closed the truck stop. So that truck stop, this truck stop I'm at, still low battery. Come on, start charging. Maybe that's probably it. Anyway, so I don't know if the battery dies, it'll just kill it out. But yeah, there's some out here. It's different than Louisiana. In a tornado in Louisiana, it's like you'll get some wind and you'll see a bunch of leaves blowing around and everything, and then you'll get some rain, and then like it'll be hail, and once the hail starts hitting your windshield, yeah, Stacey, I appreciate that, gamer. Yeah, hey, what's up, JD? So you'll get the hail start hitting your truck, and then you could be in a tornado. And then after the hail, there'll be real heavy rain and possibly a tornado hit you. And then after the end of it, you'll get some more hail, like there'll be a break in the middle, almost like an eye of a storm. And in the other end, the hook echo off the back end will hit you with more hail, and usually either the front or the back is when the tornado hits you. Well, in the Midwest, it's a little bit different. In case you don't know, if you're a trucker, a tornado could drop out of nothing. Like you could be looking around, it's like clear and some windy, and a tornado hits you. And there's there's trees up here, but the atmosphere somehow maybe it's got a more plane to work with, and nothing really stops it. Nothing stops it. So this is Iowa, okay? Up in Iowa, trucks blow over just from wind. There's always wind up here. It's like that spot in Arizona. Trucks blow over just driving down the road, and the wind catches you. No tornado at all, just heavy wind. But like I was saying, this is an actual tornado in a windy area, and you get a tornado. I was expecting, man, when I hit the video a little bit ago, you should have seen it. That little truck with that little trailer behind it was rocking, and this is the back end of the storm. It's still giving me some wind, but that little trailer, that travel trailer, it got up on, like, it was doing some 3-wheel motion. That thing was up on, kicked up and stuff, and I thought it was gonna rip the trailer in the truck and flip it to the right side because the wind. But yeah, here's the thing, people. If you're in an 18-wheeler, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. Now, when you're parked next to a bunch of trailers, they could flip on top of you. They could, but you're still safer because they're breaking the wind for you a bit if you're in between a few. They say stuff on the weather alerts. It's like find shelter. If you're in a vehicle, find a more significant. If you're in a mobile home or in a vehicle, find a more substantial shelter. Is what it said on the message. Well, hell, they closed up the truck stop. The truck stop people split, and they closed it. Now the safest place is in the freezer in that thing. Usually you see all the bricks gone and stuff. Nothing happened to this building yet, but I'm telling you, this storm ain't over yet. And they, like I said, these tornadoes up here in the Midwest, they're no joke. I mean, I could be filming my own death. You never know, people. I'm not lying to you. You know. Yeah, I told them Iowa. So it's Midwest Iowa. So, you know, like I said, these tornadoes for the next hour, and it was only going to be for like an hour and a half. So for the next hour, and there was sirens going off and all this shit, and people next to me is like, you know, waking each other up and stuff, and making sure they're up, and you know, because it's something you want to kind of be awake for it if you can help it. What's up, Horsefly? Horsefly, I'm just waiting out this storm. Like I said, I may be getting to the clear now, but the way they worded it, it's like another hour and 45 minutes that I'm in this thing, and they saw, I guess, several tornadoes. Like they saw them, and so they alerted everybody. It wasn't that there could be, so they were on the ground. So this place was ripping and roaring a little bit ago, and I couldn't even video it. But like I said, that dude with that little trailer, that's the last thing I'd want to be, is that dude right there. Like, I can maybe zoom in. That dude, that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy, right? So the trees are still blowing a bit, and like I said, it could kick back up, because the way these storms up here work, it's different in the Midwest, man. It could be like, okay, if you ever go to Colorado, it could be 80 degrees one day, and then, or 85, and then the next day it drops out, the jet stream drops down into the state of Colorado, and it'll be like 31 and snowing. Okay, well, in the same way up here in the Midwest, the storms, they can just drop out the sky. You can have like downbursts or microbursts. They have a problem with planes getting hit with them all the time. It'd be a nice day, whatever, they go to fly, and then a boom, something out of the sky drops on them, a microburst, and splats them flat on the runway, even though they already took off. So these storms up here, like I said, this is part of trucking. So I'm letting people know, if you ain't experienced this, you get to driving a truck, you come out to Midwest, don't drive that thing. Like, I'm gonna zoom back out, but the tornadoes, the way they come out, it's the way that they happen out here that's so different. That'll work. Anyway, like I said, they come in clusters, and you can already guarantee that there's like anywhere along I-80, I-90, but I-80, if you're going east to west, just driving in a regular day, there's like a sustained wind, and it'll rock, and then it'll flip you. It'll flip you loaded. It don't even care. The wind does not care. You would think it was some kind of like storm from a different planet or something, right? They got sustained winds. So but up here, when a storm happens up here, it's different. You don't get the hail. It's not like a condensed storm and you're in it and then you're out of it. It's a big, broad thing. Tornado could drop out at any time, and usually it's accompanied by rain, but it could be mild wind, but you don't see the tornado, and the tornado just rips through. So if you hadn't experienced it, like, I've got video of one in Louisiana. Like I said, it's usually you'll see the leaves blowing around, then it'll be some good heavy rain, then it'll be hail, and when it's hail, you're on one side of the tornado storm, and then there'll be a little bit of a calm for a few minutes, then there'll be heavy rain again, and be hail again, and you're on the other side of the storm, that kind of thing. And it could be all around the outskirts of the storm is where the tornadoes are at. Up here it's different. It's just way different. You just have to be up here and experience it. So if you're in a tornado warning and you don't see nothing going on in the Midwest, you have to heed it. You really have to stop. You really do have to, like, I mean, I always say get through it down in the South and all that stuff. It could be on the other side of that building and just come running through like a train. I mean, I'm thinking I'm getting to be in the clear now, but it's like a false sense of security, because for real, that's how the storms happen up here. They'll just be blowing through. A tornado would just, and you're like, well, what was that about? It wasn't even no storm. Wasn't nothing going on. Yeah, there was that. So I woke up and it sounded like somebody was loading cattle into my trailer, but I don't have a cattle trailer. Okay? And the only cattle trailer here on this lot is empty, and it's sitting over there. So I was like, well, what the hell's going on, right? I got out. I thought somebody was messing with my trailer. The wind was just ripping that hard. And so, like I said, and they closed the truck stop. So they'll close a business. It usually in the South, they're like, oh, everybody come in here. It's a building. It's safe. It's whatever. Up here in the Midwest, if you go to a truck stop, they close them. So you can't go inside. So if you're in a car, understand that's what they do up here. If you're in a truck, understand, you know, that dude's fixing to get out there and try it now. Because it would, like I said, maybe we had to clear part of it, but for at least the next, I think it's about 45 minutes left of this mess. I mean, it's no joke up here. And in the South, you're like, oh, we're clear of it. Up here, you don't know. So just a quick check-in. You should have seen what it was going. I tried to go live, man. It was so rough. It was blowing. You barely even crack your window and you're outside. That's what it feels like. And so if you don't know how it works in the Midwest, it's a whole new game. It's a different trip, man. It's different. The storms up here act different because they got more room to move around with less restriction, less trees. The buildings are, I mean, that looks like a tall building in front of me. That ain't nothing. So, and that one's under construction. I don't know what the construction crew's going to do when they get up in the morning and all their sheetrock's wet, because I guarantee you buckets and buckets of rain went in that building. All of those windows are open. I don't know if you can see them. There's a couple that are not open, but they have these drain spouts sticking out the side of the building, and it was shooting out like jets of water from the roof. Like it was just shooting out like it looked like a fire hose. So maybe we're in the clear now. It could just be a false sense of security. I know they closed the truck stop, so that's how it works up here. In case y'all don't know, you want to make some comments? That's cool. I had, man, if you would have seen how bad it was, I seen a 5-gallon bucket fly across the parking lot, and then a roller thing that was full of trash. This thing was full of trash, right? And on wheels, but it had metal things behind it. It was like somebody was pushing it and running with it, and it rolled way over to my right. It's at the back end of that parking spot over there. It was rough up in here. That's why that travel truck stopped in here, but he was still getting his butt kicked with the wind. And there's rub marks on that thing over there, that pole. There's rub marks on the pole where his trailer was pushed against that pole. Like, I thought it was going to flip the whole thing. Maybe the pole stopped him from flipping. So I don't know if you can see the rub marks, but shoot, I don't think you'll be able to see the rub marks on that pole. But it's this pole right. Let me get my hand in the shot. Where we at? That pole right there. That pole right there's got rub marks on it. So that dude, and they're fresh because it's got like, you know, like mold and mildew on the pole and the concrete, except them rub marks. So yeah, it was there was something else. I thought I was going to film my own demise. I was like, hey, let's do it. Let's YouTube this shit. So, hope everybody's doing good, man. I'm just going to kick back. I'm going to have a cigar. I don't know about y'all, but I just went through a rough storm. I'm going to have a cigar and chill. You can make all the comments you want to. I ain't been able to see them for a minute. I'll check them in a minute. But, yeah, that's how it is, though. If you don't know, if you ain't never been in the Midwest, I run this a lot. I just don't have much time to film it. They're running us so hard. Everybody must be needing food, because for real, let me tell you a story. Other night I'm running. I told him, I said, look, now that they got me loaded, I got to get going. I got to get that load there. And told him, I says, I don't have time to fuel. I had enough fuel to get it there, right? It wasn't fumes or nothing, but I had enough. That's bad when you ain't got time to fuel to get it there on time and to get the next one and all. That's pretty bad. So I did not stop at the fuel stop. I just kept rolling. So it's one of them things, man. You know, they're really needing frozen stuff and cold stuff. You know, if your company don't have freight right now and you're in a van, 53-foot van, make the jump. I'm telling you for real. You can't help but have freight in a reefer unit. It's like going for a washout, going for a load, getting fuel, unloading, going for a washout, wash, rinse, repeat. That's where I'm at. I mean, no lie. It doesn't really matter what company you get with either, to be honest with you. If you're hauling reefer freight, you are busy because, you know, those companies, that a lot of them weren't ordering and they had warehouses and warehouses full, and now we're trying to replenish that, and it's full on busy. I mean, I don't even know what to say. So yeah, I mean, it's like you want to stop and take a break and get some stuff, you know, straightened up and refit and get some food and whatever at Walmart. You're like, just buy this at the truck stop and keep going. You know, that's how hard it is. So yeah, I'll be running out of hours. Man, I've ran out of hours. I'm like, I was counting hours at first, you know, a few months ago when I started with this place, and it's like you can't just run just a little something and count hours. You're gonna run out of hours and get a restart, and then you're gonna get another 34 just to make sure you don't run out of hours. And it's impossible if you have 2 34s in a week to run out of hours, but you get up there on them hours anyways. So yeah, there's that. And I hawk my clock too, so I try to save like minutes and stuff, especially going to the Blue Beacon and getting washed out, or any kind of truck stop and getting washed out. And Chicago is the crazy part because their washouts close up, right? If you're in Chicago, if you run in Chicago and you got a cold load and you're like, I just want to go ahead and get cleaned out for the next load. All right, if it's past like 5:30, because these places close at 6, all the washouts close around Chicago. You got to go to Rochelle, Illinois, to the Blue Beacon, and that's like an hour away, and then 30-minute washout, an hour back. It says about 30 to 45 minutes. It's from West Chicago. You're gonna run. Count yourself an hour to Rochelle. Yeah, everybody knows the Blue Beacon in Rochelle, and it's not the greatest one. It's just they're open 24/7. So, I mean, but who can screw up a washout, right? Well, there's a lot of complaints on that place. But anyway, usually Blue Beacon is usually cookie cutter, and they do a good job. Well, all of the washouts close up at 6 p.m., especially since this COVID mess, so they can get home, because some of them are under curfew. I don't know if that place is under curfew or not, but that's how a lot of businesses are running right now. They're like, we got to get our employees home by a certain time. We're under curfew, and so they close up. So you got places closing up that didn't used to close up before. Walmart closing up at 8:30, all their stores. So you don't run all day. Most truck drivers used to go in about 10 at night, 11 at night, whatever, 1 in the morning, and refit their truck, and waters, ice, food, that kind of stuff. Now we're having to stop in on our breaks and stuff to get what we can, because we know they're going to close at 8:30. And some of them are anti-trucker anyhow. Ever since it seems ever since that Sam Walton died, they changed things up, and they had poles up where you couldn't get through some of them, only so high, so you can't get an 18-wheeler in there. And they take deliveries, of course, from a truck, but there's limited room. So we're trying to support places, and it's like they don't even want the money. It's kind of crazy. And I don't know how for an epidemic, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Somebody tell me, how is it good for people to not be around each other. Let's see if this will work. Oh, it's going to beep anyway. I got to build up my air. The tornado rocked all the air out of my system. Rocked my trailer back and forth. My airbags let them out, let all the air out. So how is it good to social distance and to not spread a virus if you limit the hours of a business? You got more people, more foot traffic coming in all at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's having to go in for what they need in daytime hours rather than go when they can. Like, how does it make sense that you're fighting a virus by closing up a store early that's usually open 24/7 and it's always, you know, people go in there, and people could distance themselves by going in at night? How is it smart to close up at 8:30 at night, and you got the same amount of people, need the same amount of food, so they all go in there at the same time in the daytime? So it's busier. Walmart and all these stores, Home Depot, all of them that are closing up early are getting the exact same amount of people going in, getting the exact same amount of things they needed all at the same time in the daytime, instead of spreading it out and, you know, there's less foot traffic at night. It don't make no sense to me. And you got the people in there stocking anyway. And I don't know what the thing was, why they're trying to not let you have rubbing alcohol, because that's the one thing that kills everything. We don't need hand sanitizer, we need the real ass alcohol. And I don't know why they wanted to say, hey, you know, let's not sell seed, only essential. Well, people trying to grow food because they don't trust the food supply chain. So, but for right now, there's meat, there's food. We'll see what happens with the crops because they've had issues, serious issues. You can watch Ice Age Farmer, he can tell you all about that. But yeah, these storms coming through, it's a season. It's a season that you deal with the storms. And, you know, like they say, Toto, you ain't in Kansas anymore. Well, this ain't Kansas. This is rough before it even gets to Kansas. So Kansas might see a tornado or something. This place is like heavy wind all the time and that kind of stuff. So it's a different drive and it's a different everything. You're going to break it down to 55. I don't care who you are. You're going to break it down to 55. So, because there's some places with sustained winds, especially the curvy. And that's where they got the curves in the road. It's really crazy. You would think they would make it a straightaway. They're these really sharp curves. And it's like, you know, you're talking 80. So, anyhow, maybe this is clear now. But we'll talk for a second now. I'm going to get off this thing. Let me check these comments here. Let's see here. But if you'd have seen the video that I was going to cut earlier, man, it was like really rough. Jacksonville, okay. Yeah, coin shortage and cash scrap. Yeah, that is something too that I was going to mention. I'm glad you brought that up. For some reason, I guess people being at home or not being essential for a bit, or for whatever they want to call it, whatever they want to name it, it's all BS, that they had people stay home, that basically there's a coin shortage. So if you go into a store, like if you're in Florida, especially, you're talking about Jacksonville, I was just in Florida, and the Popeyes chicken down there, they only had the drive-through. There's no inside open, but they let me walk up to the drive-through. I was just gonna get some hot chicken. You know, anything hot, I'm figuring, hey, it kills the virus, so I'll get one little thing of something hot. They wanted exact change because they don't have change. They're like, we're only accepting exact change. So if you ain't got exact change, forget about it. You can't even buy nothing now. So, you know, they want to act like there should be, some people think there should be like cashless society and stuff. No, they need change is what they need. So all you truck drivers that have change in a jar in your truck, if you want to help out the cause, or if you just want to hoard it to use it for yourself, I don't know what to say. But dimes, nickels, and pennies, they say it still needs to be rolled, and they'll have to count it out most times or whatever, even if it is rolled at some places. But pretty much a roll of quarters is so many inches across. But I guess they opened back up. This dude got him some Dairy Queen. Looks like the truck stop opened back up. That's good news, because man, I was gonna go in there. I was like, oh, it's a storm. I was like, huh, I'm gonna get me something hot or whatever. Uh, they closed up. So as far as shelter, like I said, you ain't gonna get shit. There'll be no shelter here. But back to the change thing though, yeah, you want to keep change on you, but if you're trying to help the cause, if you got change you ain't trying to use, don't pay for penny rolls. They'll give them to you at a bank, but some banks are closing and saying, only essential only or whatever. Talk to a truck stop and get penny rolls stuff for free. Just get them for free. Don't pay for that at Walmart and buy a bunch of penny rolls. It makes no sense to buy penny rolls. But yeah, you can roll up your change and go into a convenience store and they'll appreciate it because they have a shortage of change. And for the people that go in there and they're all messed up, like, man, I ain't got change for that, I don't have whatever, but they got money, they're losing sales, but they want to try to keep it. So if you give them change and can help out the ones that ain't got change, there's that. Evidently something about the supply chain of change. At first it was just hitting like Missouri and then Florida. Now it's hitting everywhere with the change shortage. Everywhere. I was going to bring that up. Man, I was going to bring that up like 3 or 4 days ago. This has been going on, about a week. Whenever I was in Missouri. Okay? I don't remember, man. It's been that busy. But I was going to bring up the change shortage then. But I talked to other states. They're like, we don't know what you're talking about. We don't know. What are you talking about? Change shortage. Oh, okay, good. Then y'all have change now. Man, now every state's talking about a change shortage. So roll your stuff up and, help out the cause because, it's making it so that people can't buy stuff. You can have a $20 bill. You don't have money. If you have a $20 bill, you don't have money. So it's not about the ones and fives and stuff. It's about actual physical change, like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. That's the problem they're having. They can still get some money. But part of it is, too, might be a problem with ones and stuff. I'm going to tell you, that I know that they're closing all these bank branches. So, and it's by appointment only. So maybe that's making it difficult for people to get that kind of change, too. But they'll take your money. But, yeah, it's going to be some people eventually they're probably already doing it. Rich people walking in, here's 20, I'm getting, $10 on that pump, keep the rest, I got to go. What are they going to do? They can't say they didn't pay for it. They overpaid. So, yeah, let's see here. Looking for parking, headed south, 95, wish me luck. South, 95, looking for parking. Oh man, where was I at on 95? I don't know how far south you're going. I had a Tampa. Look for the Walmarts on your trucker path, dude. Look, I hope you got Trucker Path, that app. If you don't have Trucker Path and you're a trucker, you should have. I live by it because it tells you where all the mom and pops are. I know where a lot of truck stops are in the U.S., but you can't possibly know where they're all at. So there's the little fat book that you got with the truck stops, but no, the Trucker Path. And there's some like this one. Some of them don't even show up on Trucker Path because they ain't up there yet. I've added them. I add them all the time. I help them people out. Well, Trucker Path will tell you so that you can maximize your money, maximize your clock. Rather than, well, I'll stop here because I don't know where another truck stop's at. You can, if you got 15 more minutes on your clock and there's another truck stop, 10 more miles further that's got everything you need, you go there. Or even if you got, 2 hours left on your clock. I mean, that's further driving means more money by the end of the week. So Trucker Path, live by it. It'll show you how many miles they are. Here's the trick though. It'll say how many miles, then you click on it, then it shows you actual miles. And then you have to know that it's actually off by a couple of miles, usually. So it could be 2 miles further, it could be 2 miles shorter. If you're going by the mile marker, if you look at the exit number it is, if it's at the 115 and you're at the 110, it's 5 miles away. That's why they did the mile markers. They changed them. And then y'all don't remember that, but I do. And then they put out the little flyers saying, hey, these are the old exit numbers, these are the new exit numbers. I still got some of them somewhere. But yeah, we're only 2,000 years behind the Romans. The Romans used milestones. So it only took us 2,000 years to catch up. So yay for us, right? So about damn time we caught up. but they've got mile markers now. The actual exit number is that's how many miles you are from the next exit. They go by mile markers now, except for I think there's a couple places that ain't changed. But so instead of it just being exit 1, exit 2, exit 3, it's exit 15, exit 30, depends on how far it is away, not just the next exit. But yeah, look up Trucker Path, look up Walmart. But I'm trying to think for Florida a good place to park on 95. Once you get to see St. Augustine is always full at the truck stop there. There's like a TA and something else. I always try to. I tell you what, Love's is building a lot of them, and so if you can find a Love's, they will let you park even on the curb. That's the good thing about Love's. Love's don't kick people out. They treat people good like they're people. So if there's a curb, you use the curb. Ain't gonna be no big deal. As long as you ain't in nobody's way, stack them deep. Trying to think though, 95. Man, from Tampa over to 95. I'm trying to think of where there was places there. See, I know of places I could go. Not just Walmarts, but like places I've delivered before that have a gate that they're closed up at night, and you can park there. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna get really. There's more trucks being built every day. Eventually, it's gonna be so rough that people are gonna be renting out their front yards, talking about, hey, you can park here. We need more truck stops. We need some parking places. That's why I brought up just like he was talking about. Wish me luck on parking. I've got a 4-point plan, north, south, east, and west of every major city within 20 miles, build something for us to park on, something. They've got full-on atriums and coffee shops and washing clothes, a place to wash clothes and showers and everything up in Ohio. Model it after that. We need that. So if anybody important's listening, build that, make that happen. Y'all want to make some stuff happen. If you want to make the economy run like it's on wheels, like it's on, some fast ball bearings, it will really, really ramp up if truckers had a place to park that they knew they could count on close to the city and the cities where they deliver. All cities, like major cities, like every state's major city, and he's gonna be famous. So, yeah, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but we need it. We definitely need it. I mean, people are screaming for parking. Parking is a major issue for trucks. You're always happy when you're bobtail because you can finally freaking know that no matter what, you can park up front or park anywhere. But having a full 18-wheeler, man, it's difficult. And they closed up some rest areas. Why? I don't know. They need to get on top of that. They need to make a map of all the rest areas that's closed and ask why the hell that happened and make that change. Now, one, they're re-bricking. They're re-bricking that one. I want to say it's on I-24 in Tennessee. I could be wrong. Or maybe Kentucky. I could be wrong. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you're a truck driver, though. They need more parking. We absolutely need more parking. They need to open up the closed scale houses and just make it a parking lot. But they could start businesses in there. You could absolutely run some serious business in a place that we know we can wash clothes and take a shower. You could run a coffee shop, a pizza place. I mean, it would be busy. It would be hopping if they would just build it. Like they say, if you build it, they will come. Like that Kevin Costner movie about Field of Dreams. If you build it, we will be there. Trust me. We're trying to stay out of the center of cities. We need a place to park, and if you would build them, man, I figure about 20 to 24 miles away from the center of the city. You're not competing with the truck stops. You're making it so that there's less people backing into each other at truck stops. We're already anti-truck stop because it's so full, and we know we might get hit by the time we wake up. That 3 a.m. earthquake, you'd be sitting there and it'd be like, what was that, right? That's what you get, people. That's what it's like. It's just like that. That 3 a.m. earthquake means another truck backed into you while you were sleeping. So anyway, well, y'all can make some comments. I'll get off this thing. Let's see here. They troll Trucker Path. Yeah, people do troll that. Let's see. By the way, my comments go away. I'm not ignoring people. It's just they go away, and I have to touch the screen to make them come up. Let's see. I remember when he went by exits. Yeah. Let's see. Southeast Colorado. No, Iowa. Let's see. They shut down rest areas in SoCal before because of prostitution several years ago. Well, they need to open them up, throw a security guard in there, run it like a business, and they can make money. They could absolutely make money. I mean, we like good coffee. Once truck drivers learn about good coffee, you know, a lot of people still think that the stuff paper filtered in the machine is good. No, the little machine with no paper filter, that little bitty machine with the bubbles on top with coffee beans, that's what we want. But we want really like full coffee shop coffee, which is even better. Man, that stuff's good. So you get more caffeine out of it. It's like the cowboys used to use percolators or whatever. There was no paper filter. Turkish style, they just cook it in an open pot and then pour off the top. Let the ground sit at the bottom. You get more caffeine out of coffee if you take away the paper filter. That's why coffee shop coffee is so much freaking better. I wish I had some right now. No lie. So, now I'm still going to have to find that cigar. I don't know, man. I had one. Got these two here. I think it's in my cigar box. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing good, man. I hope you're not dealing with rough storms. It was some rough stuff. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, it opened up. The guy next to me, he's like, you want to be on? Yeah, I'm videoing it. Hold tight. I'm videoing it. I'm live right now. I'm videoing it. I was like, you want to be on camera? I said to the guy next to me, I was going to turn the camera. I ain't going to do that to you. But anyhow, tell him it was rough. Yell real loud. Tell him. They can't hear you. Come over here and yell at it. Tell them it was rough.
It was rough, and windy and wet.
Yeah.
That was so much water, huh?
I know. I seen the water coming out of that building over there. I'm glad though that y'all were like getting each other alert about it and shit. I'll tell you, the way the storms drop down out in the Midwest out here, this is not Kansas, and this is definitely not, you know, Louisiana. I mean, I've been through here a good bit, and I've got the sustained winds, but these storms, man, they just boom, and you don't even know it.
Where you're from?
Down North Carolina. I run out here. Look, they got so much freight that's going from Iowa. They got so much freight going from Iowa just to Iowa. It keeps me busy. Like I see you running reefer too. You know what I'm talking about. I didn't even stop for fuel the other day. I was just telling them, I didn't even stop for fuel. I was like, I don't have time to stop for fuel. I gotta get this stuff there. So it's.
I was just on 80 earlier today. West of Walcott.
Yeah.
It rained so freaking hard.
Walcott. I went through there.
For 5 miles, didn't stop.
I went through it. I was going through that same storm probably because that's how I got here. But yeah, and then I delivered, and I was low on hours, and I come over to here and was like, okay, this is. They had a place to park over there, but it was pretty much full, and it was just parking. Nothing, just parking. Who wants to be in a place that's just parking? You know what I'm saying? So. But I think they opened up. Some dude got his Dairy Queen. I think they opened up. It, you know, I'm gonna get some wings.
Dude, I'm from Southern California. That was gnarly for me.
Oh, you're out of Southern California?
Yeah, dude.
And that's the first time you had that rough of a storm?
No, I was out in Iowa. I was like, last year it was really bad.
Yeah.
I was out there in Brooklyn.
Right.
I was in Brooklyn. It was like, oh my god, dude. But yeah, anyways. We have earthquakes. I don't know if an earthquake anyway,
you
can
can keep,
world.
Man, you can keep your you can keep your earthquakes. I don't want them. Well, see, I don't go to California because the way the DOT is out there, they make shit up. You know what I'm talking about. It ain't no good. You're from there. You're trying to get the hell out.
I don't go home unless I'm going for home time.
You only go home for home time. He says this guy's from California. He don't even like California. He's like, I only go home for home time because that places they'll rip you off and make up stuff. Anyway, I do this little live thing on the internet, talk to people. For the most part, I'm showing mechanical stuff, but this right here, it was a tornado. I'm telling people how it is, but yeah.
That gust from behind us?
The behind gust pushing. Yeah, it pushed the air out of my truck. I'm out of air right now. And if I start it up, it'll buzz, and then they'll have to listen to it buzzing. So I'm like, I wait, and I'm gonna start my truck in a minute and build my air back up. It wiped my air out, rocking me back and forth. After here, I don't know. I had a load. The pre-plan got cut. I told them, I said, hey, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm out of hours. And they're like, Okay, well, we'll get you a different one. Trust me, this thing's probably blowing up now. I ain't even looked at it. Let me look. I'm just waiting at the end. I told him I was in a tornado. Yeah, it says pay attention to weather alerts and be safe. I'm like, I'm here, but I can't even go in the truck stop. What's safe about? They said get out of your vehicle. To what? Stand under the canopy, watch it fall on you? Yeah.
That's the first thing that's going to go right there.
That's the first thing. Yeah, that is. That's why I was going to video it. I was going to video it, and then it got so rough, and I think I hit the button on my phone and killed the live stream. So I restarted it. Yeah. I'm going to get back to this, so they're going to give me a hard time. Take it easy. Yeah, he was in it with me too here. Let's make some beeping noise here. I'm out of air. People, I had to use my switch to get my window up. That guy. Yeah, we're sitting here through it. Yeah, so anyway, let me give you a better shot too. Clean the window off here. Anyhow, so he's from California, and he don't even like being in California because they make up stuff that's wrong with your truck. I've heard stories of them taking their badge and taking the pin off their badge and poking holes in your airlines. Listen, until they get caught, they're dirty, and then they go to jail. I've heard. Let me tell you a story too. This guy told me, I think this one was Missouri, I'm not sure. He said that, and it was just a few years back, I don't know how many years ago it was. He said that he went into a scale, and the scale master said, you're overweight, pull around. And he was going to write him a ticket. And he called a federal marshal and called the sheriff, or they called the sheriff. They had the sheriff come up there, but also a federal marshal. The sheriff is the one that really talked to him at first and said, what's going on? He says, this man's lying. He says, I'm overweight. And he says, well, okay. He says, well, how do you know you're not overweight? You could be overweight. He's maybe you picked up that load and it shifted. He's maybe they loaded more on there than you knew about, or they threw an extra pallet on the end, or they didn't have it marked right on the paperwork. He says, do you have a scale ticket? He says, no, I don't have to have a scale ticket. And the guy says, well, how do you know you're not overweight? He says, come on back here and I'll show you something. And so they go outside. The sheriff walks with him, and the federal marshal walks with him. They go back there to the back of the trailer, and he opens up the trailer door, and he's empty. You hear what I'm saying, people? There's dirty scale masters, and they went in there and they took that scale master, they put cuffs on him, and they put him in jail. It's illegal to jack with truck drivers, and those scale masters, I'm telling you, the people that work in scales, those are not police officers, those are DOT officers. Okay? There's a difference. I got a lot of respect for law enforcement and for sheriffs and for state patrol and all that. And state patrol, they got to see a lot of stuff that's messed up, man. Y'all bless the state patrol for what they do, because nobody wants to do that mess. They're called out when it's all bad. Okay? They come out when people mess up and they're upside down in the ditch. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. The DOT is just out to make money off truck drivers, and they're trying to stay relevant. And in California, they've gone to the extreme for years where they make up stuff, where stuff ain't even wrong with trucks. And they'll pop you, and you got to pay a fine just so they look like they've stopped this many trucks and found this many problems with them. They make up stuff. I've heard of them getting up under there and making air leaks where there wasn't none, taking a badge and putting their pin of their badge in the airline and making a hole where there wasn't none before. Saying that there's stuff wrong. They had a whole stack of things saying that the pitman arm or control link or whatever you want to call it of a truck was, does this, and this, and when it's messed up, it's dangerous or whatever. A whole stack of these papers, and that's what they were writing tickets for that day. Just that. And everybody couldn't have had that wrong with their truck. But it's like, here's one for you, here's one for you. Yours is wrong. Go to get a shop, get it fixed. Here's your ticket. And then they go to the shop, and the dude at the shop says, I cleaned it up. There's nothing wrong with it. I just put it back together. You go back to the scale to have them re-inspect it and let you go. Oh, everything's fine. There was nothing wrong with it in the first place. There's videos on YouTube about people about that. Videos on that one. Videos on YouTube about that couple that they were like YouTube trucking people that want to video each other and stuff and talk about what they do. And the guy had the camera in his hand, and he was videoing. Well, anyhow, they're going down the road. What happens first, though, is they're going down the road and State Patrol stops them in Arizona. I believe it was Arizona or New Mexico, one of those. And so the state trooper stopped them, I believe it's state trooper. I don't think it was just police. I believe it's state trooper. Anyways, stopped him and pulled him over. Says, she says, "Why'd you stop me?" The lady was driving. He says, I saw you messing with your cell phone. You were holding your cell phone and touching your cell phone." She says, "No, I wasn't." He says, "Yes, you was. I saw you." And her husband, the other driver that was in the passenger seat at the time, says, "No, she wasn't touching her phone. I was with her the whole time." And the guy says, "No, she was touching her phone. I saw it." He says, "No, I was videoing. Here's the video. We were just videoing at that time." So he showed him the video, and the officer looked at the video and said, "All right, have a nice day," and left. See, that's some bullshit. They do that. They do that. And this guy next to me knows about California making stuff up. And it's 55, you could be doing 56 and you get a ticket. Half of us truckers are used to doing like 65, 70. Out here it's up to like, what, 85. There's like some speed limits out here. It's like 80, 85, whatever. So running 55, you just can't make as much money because you're not running as many miles in your 11-hour drive time. So I'm sure it's, like I said, there's great people in California. There's people on YouTube that's out of California. There's awesome people. It's beautiful country, all that. For a truck driver, it's a nightmare. It's not somewhere you can monetarily go. You can't. It's not a business decision to take a load out there unless you're running out there all the way across maybe 20 from, like, say, North Carolina all the way out there, and then you got a backhaul coming right back, and you sneak in and you sneak out. Okay. But they put up curbs everywhere. It's why you got to slide your axles all the way to the front. But then that makes you overweight because they got a bridge along California that will make you overweight so they can make money. It's not just about the curbs, so they can make money. It's all about, it's a money racket. It's a racket, and they're squeezing the truck drivers for the money. So we don't have it no more. So people just don't go to California. First thing I do, if I was going to lease onto a company and get a job with them, first thing I do is say, "Oh, by the way, I don't go to California." Most of them are like, "Yeah, no problem. Most people don't." Or, "We don't run there." There's a lot of companies that don't even run there. Don't even run California. Why? Because of the reputation for ripping off companies. Indiana is the worst for tickets right now because they're going broke. They're trying to squeeze the truck driver for it. So what do? They write a bunch of speeding tickets or this and that and whatever. Companies send out alerts to their computer to the truck driver and say, "You are now entering Indiana." As soon as you go across the line, before you go there, they know from GPS, and it sends you an automatic message. Automatically. It could be the middle of the night. "You are now entering Indiana. They are the most writingest, ticketest place ever. Please be careful when you go through there. We get more tickets out of there." That. Every company's sending that out as an alert to the drivers automatically. GPS, through the computer. It's a program. So they give you a heads up when you are entering Indiana. It's all worked by GPS. Dispatchers don't do it. The computer does it automatically by GPS. So yeah, so all that's true. And like I said, this guy next to me, he don't even like going to California, and he's from California. He says, "I only go home when I have to for home time." He don't even haul freight in his own state. That I'll tell you something. I'm gonna check any messages here because let's see. Okay, I was looking at the severe weather map, trying to get updated for you. Oh, let's see. Yeah, no, there was a confirmed one out here. Guarantee you that. Let's see. I'm seeing some severe weather coming into the center of Des Moines. Yeah, Des Moines is close to where I'm at. So that they got the storm that came from me. I sent that to them. They can have it. Let's see. Traveling to get me out of Cali. I didn't want to see Cali until I was ready for home time. Yeah. So you sound just like the dude next to me. So yeah, well, we do what we can though, and freight's kicking right now for real. As soon as I give them my empty request, as soon as I do in just a bit, I'm gonna have another load. That's where it's at right now. If you got a reefer unit right now and you're clean and full of fuel, whew, man. So I'm clean I was cleaning. They put what was supposed to be a dry load, but it's still like 30 degrees continuous. I don't know how that happened, but I let them know, hey, you might want to charge them extra for the fuel because it's going to be 30 degrees continuous, and I'm not paying for that mess. So, but anyway, I'm cleaning enough, but I might get it washed out anyways, because it's like if you're hauling. If you're hauling, okay, if you don't know about reefers and you want to get into it, if you're hauling meat and you got blood all over the floor of your truck, because it's that kind of meat that leaks or whatever, of the trailer back there in the grooves, then you got to get it washed out, even if you're going to haul more meat. But if you go from chicken to meat, or to beef, I'm sorry, you want to wash it out every time anyhow. But if it's something where you're hauling a dry load, just a backhaul dry load, sometimes they'll say, well, if it's swept out, it's good as long as it doesn't smell or this or that or whatever. So if you had just hauled something like cheese on pallets that does not contaminate, like I did, then you turn around and you haul something else, you're good. So I'm clean enough, but if there's any kind of smell of cheese or something in there, I'm going to get it washed out anyhow. So I usually wash out every single time. This one I may or may not have to. But it was supposed to be a dry load. It wasn't even supposed to be refrigerated. And I get there and they're like, 30 degrees continuous. I'm like, oh crap, I need to pre-cool my trailer real quick. Give me about 15 more minutes or 20 more minutes to at least drop it down. Yeah, I had it washed out, but it's probably like, 80 degrees in there. And so most times, regular trailer or even these sitting could be like 105 or something in the box, on a hot day if you ain't running all day. So you shut down, you take a break, it gets hot, and so I pre-cool my trailer, but I get it washed out. Getting it washed out cools it off. I usually pre-cool it for the wash guys. The wash guys love it. They're like, hell yeah, we got a cold one. I'll go in there and get some. If you tell them ahead of time, hey, I'm coming in there to get a washout, and I'll have it nice and cool for you, you'll have a. They've been hot all day. They need a little air conditioning. I dropped that sucker to about 32 degrees. They go in there, it's chilly willy. They're digging it. They like seeing my truck. They like my trailer. They get back there, they're like, hell yeah, this is the kind of work I like. So usually I'll cool it off before that. So I had it kind of cool. I had it down to 50 degrees, and then I got the washout. That was just for the wash guys. Then I turned it off because I didn't think I was going to be using it. And I go into the shipper and they're like, okay, look, here's what happened. I backed in next to a guy and he had his running. I'm like, why are you running it? I thought these were dry loads. He's like, no, it's 30 degrees continuous. I said, really? So I set it, because when I went in, they confirmed it, but I went ahead and set it, believing him. It didn't hurt nothing, if it was for a few minutes. And then I go in and they told me 30 continuous. So I said, give me some time. It's going to be, because that's how I knew it was like 60 degrees. I had gotten it down that much, so yeah, that's how that works. That's how that works, is you got to pre-cool the trailer before. You can't just go in there with a 80 degree trailer and put ice cream on it. It'll all go bad, or meat or anything else. So you pre-cool the trailer all the way down to the temperature you're supposed to load at. Then when you back up, their freezer drops it even further. Then when they load you, you got to hurry it up and close it up, because they shut their door. But yeah, all the birds came back. The birds come back on top of the canopy. They left. Man, you should have seen the birds leave out of this place. It was some Stephen King shit. It was really crazy. But anyhow, let me see if there's any more comments. Probably. Okay, I think I'm good to there. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna find that cigar. That's what's fixing to happen. Here's my box, and then start things up. I got a Macanudo. It's not a good Macanudo. It's a truck stop Macanudo, but it was in the case and it was good. It's cheap. It's a smoke. Get me chilled out after a hurricane, whatever, crossfire, hurricane, tornado thing coming through. Hope everybody's doing good. Horsefly, I hope you find you a spot too. Like I said, trucker path is what I use, but in my mind, I know so many places I've delivered in Florida because they buy stuff, but they don't make stuff in Florida. That's how Florida works. They don't make nothing, they buy everything. And so they order a lot of stuff off trucks, and I go there. Well, I just know all the places I've been to, and I know where I can park. It's a Macanudo. It's this one here. just a truck stop Macanudo, yeah, you won't be able to see it. That's all right. Anyhow, just a standard Macanudo. They're not as good, man. It's for me, it's the worst imported cigar that you could get at a truck stop. I mean, anywhere, but you get it at a truck stop. But if they had a humidor, it'd be good. But now a cigar shop, now that's something. It could be the same Macanudo, but either it's a better Macanudo or they keep them better in the humidor. I don't know, really, honestly. I think the tobacco is completely different in the ones they sell at truck stops. They're prepackaged. They're in a shrink wrap thing, whatever we call it. And let's see here. Overpack, Restoria, made a spot. Hey, there you go, make a spot. The problem with the rest areas or restorias there in Florida is they make the lines just long enough for a damn camper. And so there's really not enough room for you to park in the first place for people to get by you in the back and then by you in the front, and you're worried somebody will hit you. But yeah, make a spot on the side, you're better off anyways. That's the truth. You're better off than the regular parking spots. But yeah, there we go. That's a clean cut. So yeah, and now it's getting dark again, and it's not supposed to get dark. You see how I'm talking about the rest of the storm? Like, it's not late enough to get dark here. It's only like 8 something. It's the storm just came back. Like that's how quick it gets dark and comes back. I'm covered up by a storm again right now over my head. If I could show up, man, y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show a little up. Y'all see that? Y'all see how quick that moved in? Like, we were good just a little bit ago here. We was good, people. It's back. It's like round 2, ding ding. I'm telling you. But the way that thing dropped in a little while ago, whoo! But it's back. It's not nighttime. It's not even sunset, really. It's close to sunset. This is the storm that just made it dark again. It's crazy in Iowa right now. It's that storm season. It's crazy. So it's brewed up another one like in the amount of time we were talking. So it's not nighttime, people. Like, I could show that it's daylight if I turn this down. It's just that. If I could show more up, you'd see more, but like, it's dropping out now. See how quick that happened and how bad it looks? And boy, when it dumps, it dumps. So, and it drops tornadoes out and stuff. So, let's see here. I used to smoke Arturo Fuente. I ain't in no lines. Yeah, make your own lines. You got to pull over and plow a new row sometimes. It's like farming. Trucking's like farming. Sometimes you got to pull over and plow a new row. Make it happen. Yeah, boy, howdy. It's fixing to get, man, it's all over me now. The whole place. If I could get out and show y'all this storm, you would think I was sitting under a tornado. It's fixing to probably be one. Like, it was just one a little bit ago, but it's not done. That's why I said I don't know if we're out of it yet or not. The guy next to me is going to freak out. It's round 2. Ding, ding. Yup. So, if I can find a lighter. Like I said, I don't know. Before they close the store again, I'll get off this thing in a minute and I'll go get some hot wings. And, but I'm going to have this cigar for now and just chill because, man, that was rough. It might be rough again. Don't know. But, this is going to turn into the Weather Channel, man. But yeah, for the one talking about Des Moines, let's see if I can get this here too. Make that live chat come up. Maybe it'll come up like that. I don't even know all the buttons on this stuff. I'll be honest with you. People, I'm just a trucker. What do I know, right? I will talk about something, though. A little bit of something. A little something. Okay. You know, I did that family secret thing about Abraham Lincoln. Okay. Let's see. Oh, another comment. Let's see. That bug on your windshield is looking for cover. I didn't even see it. So, probably. You ain't get in here. I'm batting down the hatches. I'm just like the video I did for real. I was shutting the windows because it'll rip your windows out. But anyway, not the side windows, the top windows, the ones that are on levers and stuff. But yeah, as far as that Abraham Lincoln thing, let me tell you something, people. At that time, there was a lot going on, and the people who were in the North didn't even like what Lincoln was doing. And John Wilkes Booth had help from people in the North, or he never would have got to the South. And I'm gonna tell you what the truth is, and he had that password and all that. I'm gonna tell you what the truth is about some of that stuff. John Wilkes Booth, before the Lincoln assassination, went to go see the Vice President of the United States. Get that through your head. And his wife said, "Oh, he's not here." He said, "Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna leave him a note." And he left him a note. I think they still have the note. And it said, "Came by to see you. I need to speak with you." Now, John Wilkes Booth was the most famous actor, you know, at that time, and they didn't have TV, and everybody go to see plays. And actually, believe it or not, Lincoln's son, I think it was Todd or Tad or something like that, went and met Lincoln one time. I mean, not Lincoln, I'm sorry, met John Wilkes Booth. He went to the play, liked the play, and then either intermission time or afterwards, spoke with and met John Wilkes Booth. Before, of course, you know, way before the assassination. That's a true story. So everybody knew John Wilkes Booth. He couldn't walk down the street without being recognized. And he evidently had a reason to speak with the vice president just before the assassination. Now, the vice president, well, one guy was in jail, in prison, while they were checking him out to see if he had something to do with the conspiracy to kill Lincoln. I don't know if he was in the government. I don't know if it was the vice president or if it was the somebody way up. Now, they did this whole thing and they brought all the people back from the Lincoln assassination trial to be witnesses against him. Okay, and it wasn't just political. They really thought he had something to do with that. The vice president had something to do with Lincoln's assassination, especially because John Wilkes Booth went to see him. Well, so it could have been it was a coup d'etat, because it was the South, and there was still soldiers fighting at that time. The war was not completely over. There was still Southern soldiers fighting at the time that Lincoln was shot. That the Union had not told them, "Hey, look, you know, Lee surrendered, so y'all need to," you know, they were still fighting. So the Southern soldiers that all got together and conspired on that plot and all, it was a coup d'etat, and it was a bunch of people involved, and they never caught John Wilkes Booth. And I did find out too that I know what the guy in the barn was about. Dude in the barn, here's what happened. John Wilkes Booth was trying to escape, and they had him on this in this wagon, and they were hiding him under the wagon, under stuff, right, in the wagon, trying to get him out of there. And when he was moving place to place, and they said, "The Union soldiers are coming." And so they got him out. They said, "Get up, get out." And they went over into some woods and hid. Then the Union soldiers checked out the wagon and then went on, or whatever, or however it worked out at that point. But he lost a lot of his papers in the woods. They fell out of his shirt or jacket pocket. He had all these papers with him. And then he got back in the wagon and they traveled on. But then the guy that he was traveling with that was helping him escape was the redheaded guy in the barn. See, he told the redheaded guy, he's like, "Hey, look, I need those papers. That's all my papers. That proves who I am and stuff to help me get by and whatever." He says, "But also it's my journals and stuff." And so the guy went back to that spot to find his papers. And then the Union troops were there again. So they ran into a barn. Now he has all of John Wilkes Booth's papers on him. Well, one of the guys from outside the barn threw a slat, shot him in the neck, and killed him. Well, he was with John Wilkes Booth's accomplice, and when they burned the barn and they got him out, and some of them came out and then they pulled the body out, the guy that came out that was his accomplice, says, that's not John Wilkes Booth. That's not John Wilkes Booth. But they're like, well, it has on his papers on him. It's going to have to be him for now because we're told we're going to find him or whatever. And then there was a whole nother John Wilkes Booth that they actually killed and put in a river or stream or whatever. But that guy, because he had all of his effects on him, they tried to say that that was proof that was John Wilkes Booth. Even though he was shorter, he was red-haired, John Wilkes Booth was well known. They would have plastered his picture everywhere. They knew that that was not him. They knew it wasn't him. So there was a conspiracy to kill Lincoln, and the government at that time, his own government, was in on it. They don't know how deep, and it can never be proven how deep. But those people were put on trial, and it was put in front of Congress. But here's the kicker. The journal that they pulled out of that guy's pocket, that was John Wilkes Booth's diary, was out of date. It was not his current diary. They added a bunch of crap to it. They cut out the front pages because he was probably using those pages as writing down who all was involved in the plot. And they were involved in the plot, so they cut the pages out and got rid of the proof. And then they took it apart. They hand traced over some of his letters and made that confession, and then put it back together, but they put them in the wrong order. And those pages, the FBI in the 70s proved that someone altered it before it went to Congress during those trials. So they doctored it up, made a fake confession in it, but it was last year's. It wasn't his recent one that he probably had on him. It wasn't his recent diary. So, but it had older information in it with all of the plot conspirators from earlier, of how they had put it all together or whatever, I guess, and all the contacts and stuff of people that were in the government conspiring against Lincoln, and they couldn't have that. So they went through, they ripped out pages in the front, they took out pages in the back, moved them further into the back and glued them back in perfectly, and then made up a fake confession and put that in there too. And they traced over his letters, made them imprint on another page, and then forged them by writing the ink over that and made it look like he wrote it. And they forged his signature, saying that he was, conspiring against Lincoln. They made up a bunch of shit and put it in that last year's diary, but it wasn't the present diary that he was writing in. But it did have it in front of them pages, incriminating evidence against, incriminating evidence against the government at that time, showing that they were in on a conspiracy to take out Lincoln. So there's that. Because even though there was the South and the North, they were couriers, and there was a lot of people in the post office who were working for the South too. And so they would get it so far by sneaking stuff back and forth. And then, it's my understanding that John Wilkes Booth's brother was a courier for the South. And they had spies, and they had all kinds of stuff going on. It was a whole country in the South. And so they had, intelligence gathering people and all this stuff. But they had a courier kind of system. That's how they got stuff back and forth. But they faked John Wilkes Booth's diary, but it was last year's one. He probably had on him the right one. That diary would be one to find. If they ever find that diary, it'll probably be in Georgia that they find it. But if that's the guy that moved also to Texas and all that, and later I think died in Oklahoma, there's a hotel in Oklahoma, or motel, or what do you call it, a boarding house, whatever they call it, that claims that he died there. And that's their claim to fame, and that's why people want to go to that hotel. And they got a room set up like it was in that time or whatever, and said John Wilkes Booth later died there. They said that he killed himself with wine laced with arsenic or something. I think if somebody found out where he was, they probably poisoned him. But that's just my thought. I don't think he would have killed himself after all that. But I don't think that's the same guy, because the John Wilkes Booth that the family history talks about, that they actually helped him in Elbertson, Georgia. That John Wilkes Booth married in Ohio and had the 1 or 2 kids. I think it was 2. Somebody else said it's 1 or 2. And then moved to Georgia and then had 3 more kids. And there's a woman that I couldn't find that thing, but she claimed, she's dead now, she claimed to be the daughter of John Wilkes Booth. after it all happened. Plus, there's people who, when he crossed the Potomac at one time when he was in his escape and all this other stuff, but there was people who claimed that they, even up there, helped him, and it was after the date of the barn incident. That was not him. So, yeah, in school they'll teach you, oh, John Wilkes Booth shot Lincoln and he's dead now. Yeah, they don't quite teach you there was a big coup. The government, a lot of people was helping and probably was involved. It could have even been the vice president at that time, but we don't know. But definitely other upper level people in the government didn't want Lincoln to do what he was doing, and it's deeper than you think. And they faked his his ledger or journal or diary, whatever you want to call it, and it was dated. And back then, people would get more sheets and they could just take it out and put it in that thing. He had a whole nother one that was newer. That one just had information pertaining to the government people involved. And so he was going to try to clear his name by putting all them people up there. He was what you might even call, even though he did it, like, you can't call him a patsy because it wasn't just set up, but it was kind of like that. But he was not a lone person, you know, in that situation. There was a lot of people involved, and but as far as his whole diary thing, the FBI investigated it in the 70s and showed, yep, it was doctored before they took it to Congress. And the reason they took it to Congress way back then is because they opened up a whole new trial after the assassination trials to find out who was involved in the government. And so they doctored up his stuff, and they made it so that they didn't look like they were any part of it. And they made a fake confession and put in there and all kinds of stuff and rebound it all pretty. But the reason they know it was rebound fake, and the FBI knows it was fake, that they did that scan of it in the 70s, is because when you write down on one page, it leaves an imprint on the next page. So he wrote down on these pages and it left imprints on pages before it. How does that happen? It's because they took those pages out of the thing, put it back in there and re-glued it and re-sewed it and all that stuff, and made it look like it was in order, but it was not in order. The latter pages should have been in the former, because you can't bear down on page 20 and it show up as an imprint on page 5. That's what happened with that. So there was a big conspiracy that even the government covered it up with the evidence to give to Congress. So they lied to Congress at that time with that. So, and it was, by the way, it was Bill O'Reilly that did that kind of stuff. He might be interested in this and in the story that he made it. That's who I was going to sell it or send it to. Sell it to. We're not selling it. I'm giving it away. But yeah, so maybe I should write a book on some of this stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so Lincoln's assassin, his diary was doctored, and it wasn't even this year's diary at that time. That previous, everybody gets a new ledger, and it was out of date by, I don't know, 6 months or something, but he was keeping it because it had wrote down in it the information on all the congressmen and all that other stuff in the front of it, or whoever was involved. And I don't know that Congress was involved. It was definitely, though, he knew where he lived and went to visit the vice president at that time. So kind of crazy, but he put a message in his box. But everybody knew him, and he was like I said, he had contacts, and they were all putting it all together, all the conspirators. And the one too that Mary Surratt, I believe is her name, the one that had that boarding house, they opened up that boarding house that was not open before. All of a sudden, it was so that they could get people staying there that was involved with the thing. I don't think it was just to make money or some kind of idea. I think the South paid for all that, so just to even start it up in the first place and make it a boarding house, because all of a sudden there's all those conspirators that were living there. And Mary Surratt's son, of course, moved up, stayed with the Catholic priest up there in Canada, moved away and whatever while they hung his mom. And then and the rope thing, that's something too I picked up on too. The guy who tied that rope, who only went around it 5 times instead of how many times you're supposed to go for a noose, he thought that was going to be used for Mary Surratt, but they changed the placement of all the people, and they gave her what was called a place of honor or something, right, up on the gallows. and her last words were, "Don't let me fall." Of course, it let her fall anyhow, but she thought maybe God was going to hold her up. Well, or maybe the people, I don't know. But the thing was, they used the wrong rope on her. That was supposed to be the last rope used, was the 5 times wound around. There was a guy who was hung that day, who they said it was gruesome. And they said that it didn't catch right, so it didn't break his neck. No, he only went around the rope 5 times because he didn't think that Mary Surratt was going to be hung, and his hands were tired from tying all that rope. So he just went around it 5 times. The wrong rope was used on the wrong person. He thought she was going to get off. He thought surely they wouldn't hang a woman. Well, a lot of people thought that. Well, here's what happened. They put that rope on another guy. That guy, it didn't snap his neck. It asphyxiated him, and he was choking, and his legs were kicking for I don't know how many minutes. That was the rope that was supposed to be used for Mary Surratt. That's what happened to the gallows that day, and they said it was gruesome. So that guy choked to death. It didn't snap his neck. He choked to death. That's the one that was the rope that he thought was going to be for Mary Surratt, but they changed places, and they said they put her at the place of honor or whatever on the gallows. Somehow the spot on all the way on one side was supposed to be the place of honor. So they switched up they were supposed to be hung in a certain order. They switched up the routine. That's why that guy was horrified about how that was going to happen and all that. And that's why the guy choked to death instead of being really hung. He was asphyxiated by hanging. Kind of crazy. So I know it's way too much about Lincoln, and he's going, yeah, you should hear what all happened with the whole Kennedy thing too. Yeah, it was kind of crazy too. So, yeah, I'm gonna check some comments here. Let's see. There was a bunch of conspirators plotting to kill Lincoln. Yep. Let's see. Okay. I'll take that W900. Yeah. Let's see. Tornado wishing for your county again. Funnel shapes in the air. Yeah. See, it came back. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Yeah. Well, and the Mary Surratt thing, you want to automatically think, well, she was not guilty and all this stuff. But when John Wilkes Booth was going to see her son and conspire to make this plot happen, and he wasn't there, he would talk to her, and he would see her for hours and hours, and they said that he went to her room. Well, I don't think they had a relationship going on. They could have, but the thing was that he talked to her for hours and hours and hours, even in the parlor. They had all these secret things, and she knew about the stash of guns and stuff, and she told someone else, have what did she call them, the hot irons or something ready or something, and she told somebody else this and said, hey, so John Wilkes Booth didn't trust nobody else to get the message, so he sent her. So in doing that, people heard what she said to different people, and so she had set it up. They're enjoying this thing. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you do. And I wanted to clarify some stuff too. Like I said on that Lincoln thing, it was definitely a conspirator that was killed in that barn. They've got a piece of his neck too. Here's the thing too. Right now, the federal government is still covering this shit up. If you don't believe me, okay. They won't release and let someone take a sliver of DNA off of the spine with the bullet in it that they claim to be John Wilkes Booth that was shot in the barn. Like they said, okay, dig him up or whatever, and the family says, we want to know if that's him or not. If it's not, get him out of our plot, get him out of our family, burial. Well, they know it's not him. They know, a lot of them, they all know. There was one woman who said to her, she was the, cousin of John Wilkes Booth or something, and taught her daughter, yeah, they're going to teach you this stuff in school. You're going to have to go along with it, but don't believe it because you come from the Booths that, basically they never killed him, and he was still alive at that time. And so they know, the family knows. The thing is that the federal government is still trying to cover it up because they won't let them exhume the body. Somebody keeps blocking it. And they won't even test it, that's in the national, some kind of museum, Army museum, something archive thing, if they take a sliver of it, they can test it against the DNA of people that are now living to see if it was John Wilkes Booth. They won't do it. And so it's in a museum. It's just sitting there, not hurting nobody. And it's already out of the ground. But because they removed that section of that guy's neck that was shot during the autopsy, they kept it. Well, it's in a museum. It ain't hurting nobody, but they won't let them test it. Because they know that there's a bigger cover-up. And they know that there was a conspiracy and to kill Lincoln and that who all was involved, and they know that that is not John Wilkes Booth and that John Wilkes Booth got away. The reason he got away is he had help from both sides. He absolutely had help from both sides, and they didn't want him to go on trial because he'd have told who all was involved. So, but when he jumped off the stage, they have his boot, they have his spur. His spur got caught in the flag when he was jumping off of the balcony away from Lincoln. He was standing up there at first, and then they said he was trying to climb down. He didn't exactly jump, but it was about 12 feet drop once he got so far. It was still a 12-foot drop because it was about 20 foot in the first place. Well, one of the guys up in the box with Lincoln grabbed his coat and kind of held him from leaving, but then he let go. And then the people in the play thought it was all part of the play. And then his spur got caught on this flag that was draped around the upper box and made him flip over and kind of fall straight down on his side, and it broke his leg. I believe it was his left leg. And he had these boots on. Nobody shows him in these boots. These boots, if they were rolled up, would be all the way up to his upper area of his crotch. Around it would be like wearing chaps. Okay, these things were so high. These riding boots, they were special boots that he had. And so he had them rolled down a little, but not much. Nobody shows him depicted in those. Well, those boots is what found out that the doctor definitely helped set his leg, because he left one there. The doctor, I guess, cut part of the boot and then took the boot off, and he left the boot there after the doc set his leg. And so the doctor, he wasn't hanged. I said I didn't know if he's hanged or not. He was actually put in prison for I don't know how many years, or maybe his life, but he was implicated in helping him. And even the guy that was holding the horse outside was helping him. So then and there was all these Union soldiers and generals and everything that just come from battle watching the play, that they were like kicking themselves in the ass later that they didn't shoot him or something. They all had guns, but they thought it was part of the play. So the one guy, though, that did know what was going on, I think he was a general, but he got up and started chasing Booth just afterwards, but he didn't know his way around the back of the theater. So he goes in the back of the theater, looking, he's like, what the hell? And then he looked outside, and he saw Booth, and Booth was taking about 5 or 10 minutes to even get onto the horse because his leg was broke, and he had already hit the guy that was holding the horse. He says, give me that horse. The guy didn't recognize him at first, and so Booth took the back of his knife that he had just stabbed the other guy with and butted it onto the top of the guy's little kid's head that was holding the horse for him, or guy's head. I don't know how old he was. So, but he was taking forever to get onto the horse. The general comes running out and grabbed the reins. So he almost had Booth. And then Booth whipped the horse around and kicked it, and came out of there at full gallop and running. So he lost him. And so that's how all that happened. Booth didn't exactly jump on the stage. He fell. He flopped onto it. But then he stood up and said, like, I think it was, I forget what it was he said. Oh, I know what it was. It was like Sig Semper Tyrannis. It meant like that it's okay to kill someone who's a tyrant or a bad person or something. Like, it was okay for him to have killed Lincoln. That's what he was saying. They didn't know he killed Lincoln because he shot him when all the laughter was going on. He knew the lines. He was in the play before. So, yeah, he was just waiting in the bar down below drinking behind the place, and then went around the front when he knew what time that line was going to be given. And so, anyways, he was actually supposed to kill Grant that day too. Grant was supposed to be there that day. Grant was supposed to be there with the president, and there was somebody actually who was going to meet Grant that went and was like, "Where's Grant?" Grant changed at the last minute. His wife said he wanted him to go on vacation with her, and they went on vacation somewhere. So, but the wife did say that there was people who tried to get in the train car at different places, all tried to kill Grant. There was other people tried to kill Grant. But they thought he was going to be at that theater, and John Wilkes Booth was supposed to kill the president and stab Grant and kill Grant. Grant wasn't there, so he did that to the other guy. But anyway, so all that happened, and like I said, they doctored his ledger or diary, or actually it was just like a yearly planner, but it's kind of like a diary, and wasn't even the one that he was probably carrying that was up to date. Also, so where did that one go? How come he was like, 8 months out of date when he was rich, and he could have just replaced it or bought a new one? He had a new one. So that's how he had all the contacts on the new one too, but he had contacts on the old one and writings about him. And so that's why he had to keep all those writings. That was his proof that there was a conspiracy. That was going to get him out later. He thought it was going to get him out of jail even though he killed the president, or get him out of dying. Maybe he'd get life imprisonment or something. But he knew he'd be like a hero in the South. And it was a coup d'etat. They were trying to take out all the government heads at once. Another guy was supposed to kill, I think it was Secretary of State or Secretary of War, one of those. So, yeah, and I'm looking at another tornado going to come in. That's what I'm looking at. But yeah, that's how it happened. And John Wilkes Booth lived, and he moved to the South. First he was in Ohio, so he didn't just run straight south, but he did go to Alberton, Georgia, and people in my cousins, distant cousins, their family told him the story, and they helped to hide John Wilkes Booth in that town. And then I don't know that he moved out of there. I don't think he did. I think that the body that's that mummy guy, whatever, I think that is fake, because he had kids and stuff. And like I said, the one daughter, she wrote a book, I think it was, telling how John Wilkes Booth was her dad and all that stuff, and escaped and had her. So, but she's dead, and they've shown where her grave was at and all that stuff. Yeah, your history is not what you're told. There you go. I hope I put maybe shine a light on some of it. Let's see here. Doing a jig at the end of the rope. Yeah, that's what happened. The wind's starting to kick up again. Like I might be in for another round 2. That was rough stuff though. I thought I had it on video, and like I said, it was so rough I hit the button and cut that live off, but whatever, no worries. They're moving the trash cart back now. That trash cart rolled across the lot. That's crazy. They're over here to the left, moving the trash cart back. But yeah, so do we want to go into Kennedy next? Am I allowed? That's the thing. Will they hang me high if I talk about Kennedy, if I tell the truth? I don't know the rules on that. Somebody's got to tell me the rules on that. If I tell the truth about everything that I know about Kennedy, right? Will they run razor wire around my truck, shut me down, make me take an extra 10-hour break? I don't know. They were supposed to release all of the stuff on Kennedy and make it public. A lot of stuff was still redacted, I guess. I just want to know. Somebody's got to tell me. I think I'd have to have word from up high, on high, maybe even the president, to tell me that it's okay to talk about. I need permission. For real. It's scary. Yes, talk about Kennedy. Oh boy, don't get me. Like I said, no, not on this one. That's a whole nother video. Let me tell you people. I'll tell you what. I'll get this out. I'll say this. Riddle me this one. If Lee Harvey Oswald was in a building up above the whole thing, and he was at that point getting to be an eighth of a mile away, how could you possibly smell smoke at ground level, gun smoke? How does that happen? You need to look at the testimony of all the people that talked and all the ones that weren't allowed to talk, but that's the start of what I know. Yeah, there was smoke smelled at ground level, street level. Okay. And the guy opening the umbrella, you're not going to make me believe that that was something about Lord Chamberlain and he was going to protest something. No. No, that was a signal. And the babushka lady, I think they knew what was going to happen too. Yeah. So, likely a spy. So, yeah. And they took down the sign afterwards. And there was also a hole in the, there was also a hole or a spot in the top of the car that shows another gunshot. There was a piece of concrete that hit one dude because that thing was hit. I'm just gonna let y'all talk about it. Yeah, talk about it. Talk about it. I will say this. Did anyone notice? I'm just asking, does anyone notice? Because you might not have noticed, but in case, did anyone notice what John F. Kennedy Jr. named his magazine? The first thing you think is that is the dumbest thing to name a magazine. Who the hell would name a magazine that? It wasn't even about that. Who would start up a magazine at the time if they wanted to make a living? You can't make a living in a magazine. Certain people bought it. Why would you name a magazine George? Yeah. Well, what else could the son of the slain president name a magazine? Right? But there was a couple of them. There was a couple of Georges. And one of them was holding a gun that day. Now that wasn't, I don't think, on purpose. I think when the car moved, I think the gun went off. I'm just going to say that. But there is proof of the Kennedy assassination. And like I said, I don't know if I can go into that. I don't know if I can talk about that. I don't know. Where do you go on that? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people got taken out that day. They talked about the hobos. They talked about the that's a good question. I've never heard that angle of it, but that's a good question. But like I said, I'll have to do a live on the whole thing. I don't really want to talk about all of the rest of it here. I need permission. I need permission to speak freely. You know, requesting permission to speak freely. I'm for real. I believe in my freedom of speech, and I'll talk about anything. But I'm not trying to get taken out just to put that out. But I do, like I said, know of what happened and it's one of those things where it's like are we allowed to talk about that as a people, as a nation? Are we allowed to tell what happened? You know, are we allowed? I don't know what's been released, and I've got to see if one thing is released before I even want to talk about it. If I see that one thing is released, or if somebody can give me a heads up and say that they will release it, when they release what I know to be proof on Kennedy's assassination, then I'll feel like I can talk about it because it's already out. I don't like talking about stuff unless it's already out. My screen just went wonky. I don't know why. I'm out of focus. There we go. That's the best it'll do. It's done went blurry cartoon time on my phone. Probably because I'm talking about this. I'm telling you that they're listening. So yeah, it's one of those things where you know you can't know on this one how the government what they're trying to keep under wraps and what they're not. And they talk about that they took people out that talked about it. So I don't know what their stance is on it now. Do they want to know the truth? Because there's proof of it, and it's easy to find. It's so easy to find here. Let's see here. Yeah, he didn't know where he was when Kennedy. And I'm reading this, but I didn't really want to say. But I'm reading it. Yeah, let's see. Probably not. They were supposed to release everything on the 50th anniversary. Well, they had released a lot of stuff, and it was redacted. It was supposed to be after so many years. I guess after people were dead or whatever. If they wanted to know the truth, I have the truth, and I have proof, and I can prove it. I mean, I just laid it out for you on Lincoln. But that's just from me finding, you know, that I had. Oh, this was years and years ago. I've known about that. But I knew about the truth about Kennedy when I was way younger. I was a kid and was shown the proof. So it's been out, but it's been taken from the public. The proof was taken from the public. And they did alter the videos. All of the Zapruder film, all of the other film, I've seen it frame by frame. I could just about number the frames. And they did move the sign because it had a bullet hole in it, and that was no good. So they removed the sign and took it. The road sign that blocked Kennedy's view of the Zapruder film. But they did such a clean sweep of the evidence I'm talking about. And if I talked about it, people would remember it, and people would know it to be true. And they say, oh shit, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did let that out. And then, yeah. So they covered it up. I don't know if they're still trying to cover it up. If they're still trying to cover it up, I don't want to be the one to break it. But if they really, really want the truth, I've got the truth. I got proof for them. And it's unmistakable, and it's easy to find, and it's easy to understand. And you'll know Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone. I don't know that he even fired the first couple, but yeah, there's proof. There's absolute proof on it. And I know it. But they're gonna have to let me know though before I put it out. Like I said, I'm not trying to break stories, really. I mean, the one on Lincoln, I mean, they're all dead and gone, and people should know the truth about that. Really, people should know about the truth about the Kennedy assassination. But I don't know what they're trying to do with it. If they had not redacted that stuff when they let it out, if they let everything out, then the proof I'm talking about would be let out. I'd like to visit the Library of Congress. I'd like one day in there. One day. And I know you can go there. I'm gonna have to save up and go there. But I would like one day in the Library of Congress. It would take me 15 minutes to find out whether it's there or not and what they did with it. And it would take me about 5 minutes. If I had the ear of some people higher up, if I had contact with them, they could tell me. They would know. They already know. So I don't know why they redacted stuff on that, and I don't know. I'm not just doing this for shine or for YouTube or for views or anything. I'm telling you, I know proof about it. And I can show them where they have it. And it's irrefutable. It's unmistakable. It's scientifically impossible for it not to be proof. It's whether or not they want to admit to it or know it or whatever. And whether they really want people to know it. And if they're willing to take people out that talk about it because they're trying to keep it that quiet, I'm not trying to be taken out. I like me a whole lot. I like life. I like cigars. Hell, I even like tornadoes better than I like dying. I'll sit here in this tornado. For real people, I'm not trying to get kicked off the planet. Okay? And I ain't trying to be in any way famous for being famous for my... If I was, you'd be looking at me right now. But look at this beautiful view you get. This is what I provide. You're not trying to see me anyways. Why would you want to look at me? This is much better to look at. So what I'm saying is, in no way am I trying to become famous or well-known or anything. I'd just soon be left the hell alone as far as that part. But there's absolute truth and proof in everything. But I'm not trying to be surrounded by razor wire and black cars and all that shit. And I have problems. So if they want to know, I've got it. I know it. You know, I don't have it. They have it. I want to know if they got it in the Library of Congress. Let's see. They'd have it locked up. They did. They don't want anyone to know the truth. You can request items from the Library of Congress from your library. What? No. Get the fuck out. Can I really do that? Oh no, that's an idea. No, they'll come and hunt me down. If I ask for that specific thing, no, I gotta find it. No, I gotta find a library that it's. I gotta find a library that it's already in. No, you don't understand, people. This is something that no. I'm not ordering shit. You ordering, you'd be ordering a hit on yourself. No, I'm not. No, listen. Y'all don't understand red flag books. Y'all don't understand. Oh man, no. If it's in there and I walk in and I can see it, I don't even have to touch it. I don't even have to inspect it. I can just know it. So if it's cataloged and I can say, I need to physically see that specimen, I need to see this, then I will have proof. And if it exists, it in itself is proof. Before it was doctored, before everything, it's proof on the Kennedy assassination. And it's unmistakable, irrefutable proof. So I'm not ordering shit, but if they have it, and I'm going to find that was an idea. That was an idea, was to look at some places. But if it's at the Library of Congress, I might need permission. It may be something that if you ask for that, somebody's going to come out in a suit and say, why do you need to see this thing? We do have it. It may be, but I'm telling you, if they have it, it's under lock and key. You know, they talk about the presidents having a president's book that they write in and stuff, and it would be buried somewhere hidden deeper than that, or it'd be with it. And so, you know, I think that once you're president, I think you're pretty well privy to information. I think you can look at anything you want, but you have to know what to ask for. They're not just going to give it to you. They're not going to bring it to you on a silver platter. You got to know what to look for. I know what to look for. I know what to ask for. I've got it in my head. I know what it is. Someone else has already said what I have to say about it on a different video, but he was even scared to say that. And it's my understanding that because of what he had the ability to do, they asked him. So he was even scared to talk about the fact that they asked him. Like I said, I don't know if they still got like squads going around taking people out for that shit. So you can have someone search OCLC at a library to see if the title is there. Ooh, I don't know, man. Like I said, no, I don't. If I bring it up and they know about it, they could destroy it. I got it. Like I said, if we wait long enough, and if they don't want you to have it now, if we wait long enough, it'll still exist. If I mention it now, they could destroy it. You see what I'm saying? But it's unmistakable, irrefutable proof that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act So there's that. Like I said, I'll do a live on it when I think I can. They've got. That's one thing that, like I said, I'm scared to do. I ain't scared of much, but I'm scared to do that because I know that they have, in the past, people who were living in the past who were running things, they didn't want some people to testify, all this other stuff. There's rumors that people got taken out, that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to be the one. You know, I'd rather take on this tornado. That's where I'm at. But I absolutely do know. I know. And you should know too. Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone on that one. So, yeah. Man. I'm going to crack that window on the other side, let some wind in. This guy on this side's got a reefer unit running. Mine's not. I got to have some air. See, this thing will start beeping like crazy. So half the truck stop is still shut down. You know, he went to Dairy Queen. I don't think they ever opened up a Subway. They were closing some stuff up. Place across the street closed. Everything's, you know, a rough storm here. Be interesting. Yeah, well, there's a lot to that. Let me just start this thing up and get some air going. That's the idea. I'll roll these back up. They're probably quieter idling. It'll be buzzing for a bit. I gotta build up my air just because this tornado killed my air out. Man. It's gonna be beeping for a minute too. Sorry about that, people, but I need some AC. It's warm even though it got cooled off. It's been hot. It's been a hot summer. It's gonna take so long for this thing to get right. I'm just gonna kick some air on it and shut this thing off. It won't take long to freeze out this thing. Man. So let's check and see if I've yeah, I got a update here. What do we got? Always not that bad. Let's see what we got. Anything? No, nothing. Nothing. Okay, cool. I'll shut this off. Oh, that's good. Built my air back up. The tornado leaked all my air out, but it shook my trailer back and forth. It was pushing me from the back. He was saying the same thing. It's like somebody hit him from the back. It shoved from the back, shoved my whole truck forward. And like I said, it was a bucket flying across the parking lot. It's kind of crazy. It got kind of crazy around here. I'm fixing to shut this thing back off though. I should just get it cooled off just enough, and then let nighttime take over. Maybe it won't be so hot. I don't like feeling like I'm having to talk over the truck running though. Let's see here. At least the air's built back up. Makes it more comfortable when the wind does blow. Let's shut this thing off. There we go. But yeah, so we was talking about Kennedy and stuff. Yeah, like I said, I can tell you, I got a mind that I'm a problem solver. In case you haven't noticed, I changed turbos. You know, it's like I'm a problem solver. I fix things. I can figure things out. Sometimes it takes me a while, but whatever. But yeah, this was, anybody could have figured it out, and that's why they hid everything. And I don't know the rules on that. What are the rules anymore? Can anybody tell me? You know, I mean, people talk about Kennedy every day, but they don't tell the real shit. And I know the real shit. And it's like, I don't want to name drop. I don't want to, you know, throw nobody under the bus or nothing like that. For who all was involved, nothing like that. But the proof is what I want to talk about, but I don't know if I can talk about the proof, you know? So it might just have to wait 10 more years. I don't know, but it's there. And there's a piece in England too. I may be able to get one side of it from England. It's kind of funny, and I'm not making this up, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of like the desks Resolute that they talked about in National Treasure. There's a part of it in England. See, what happened was they were all hunting stuff down over here, covering it up. But they weren't in England. So part of it went to England. Part of a piece of the puzzle is in England. And I saw it on the internet. I don't know if I can actually procure it. But that's not quite enough proof, or the exact proof that I want, but it's close. And the two together would prove each other to be true. It's irrefutable evidence, but you have to know how to read evidence. It's like that. Like I said, I can explain it in 2 seconds and everybody on the whole planet would understand it. But it takes someone explaining it that can read evidence. Like I said, I can read it, you know. And it was explained to me when I was a kid. How about that? You know? So there was a guy, yeah. I don't want to talk about it. I'll get started. I don't want to talk about it. Here comes the cattle truck. Let's talk about the cattle truck. There's probably cows on it. It's awesome. If I get started on that shit, I'll get on a roll, and it will be Kennedy Central, and have the internet. Look, I could explode the internet. All I would have to do is type in a, you know, I have new evidence in the Kennedy assassination. Put it up. Done. I'd break the internet. You know, it'd break the internet. The internet can't handle that. And see what happened? I just broke the internet. It just said reconnecting and live. I broke the internet. I'm telling you. You even, whew. Like I said, I'm scared. Now they got me more scared. You see what they did to me? They dropped my signal and did it. It was not the cattle truck. Listen, people, this is some real ass shit. I don't, like I said, man, y'all done got me scared. Y'all done got me talking about me. I don't fear many things, but damn, yeah, I don't. It ain't time. It ain't time. It ain't time yet. But like I said, it would take me having a credit card with about 50 bucks on it, and I could get the proof from England. And it would take me going to the Library of Congress or going to a couple of other places that I could find the matching proof in the United States. I drive a truck, I'm busy. Maybe I'll get it done sometime, but like I said, my thing is, I've got to be assured by our government that they're not trying to take out people that know or want to show that there was more than one gunman. Like, if they're so stuck on stupid that they want people to really believe that forever, so much that they want to take people out, then they are listening. Well, I need some answers, and I need it just not just from some, you know, half-ass picture of a whatever that says they're from whatever on YouTube. It's gonna have, like I said, I'm gonna need some full-on permission, and they're gonna have to really make me believe that it's okay. Because like I said, that's the fear of death it's not that I fear death. Everybody's made to die, and it's a portion for a man to die but one time. And so honestly, the way I see it is, a man is a portion to die once, but a man who fears death dies 1,000,000 times. Okay, that's an old saying from an old Chinese philosopher. Well, the thing is, I don't fear dying every day, or I wouldn't drive a truck. But I'm not trying to bring death to rain down upon me either. I don't need the drone in the sky to be like, "Are we go? Are we go?" You know what I'm saying? I don't need that. No go for that, right? So, look, if they want me to tell it, if they really want people to know and want me to explain, it'd take me 2 seconds, and like I said, a couple pieces of evidence that would not take much to procure. Really, it would only take one, but I want to get the one from England too. So, but I could tell you about it, but then they would destroy it if they don't want it out, and that would ruin everything. So if they want it out, they're gonna have to let me know that they're not taking out people no more for that shit. Because for real, they gave some people a hard way to go. They made lives hard for some people, and I think some people died over it. And I'm not trying to be one. I don't want to be another person on somebody's list or some shit. Let them do what they do. you know. But if they want to know the truth and they act like they don't know it, or they can't read the evidence they already have, if people in the government currently really want to know that was there a conspiracy or not, I can prove it in 2 seconds. And they have the proof. They have the proof. They got it somewhere. I got to find out where. But they have the proof, but I know the proof. And I can explain the proof and talk about it, and I can say that I am a archive of it in my mind. And they will understand and know it to be true. And it would take a very small amount of investigation, even if they destroyed it, to know that it existed. They did try to wipe everything clean. So like I said, they have the proof. If they want to know, I can tell them, I can explain it to them. But they're going to have to give me some serious, it's okay, before I start talking and telling it on the internet. You know what I mean? You got to protect yourself, you know? So I'm not trying to say things that get me in trouble, you know? I agree, you got to keep that info to yourself. They don't want the real truth out, just the truth out. Yeah. If I did not have proof, I would not tell you so. That's the same way as like Jesus said, if it was not true about heaven, I would not have told you so. Or the people that talked about Jesus even said, if it was not true, I would not tell you so. If I did not know the proof, I would not tell you so. I'd have no reason to talk about it. I'd be like, man, I don't know nothing about that, but something happened. No, I absolutely know, and you could explain it you could explain it to a child, and they would understand it, and they would know it to be true. But like I said, if they don't want it out, I'm not going to be the one to put it out, and I'm not going to be the one to explain it. It's just like if you go to, let's say you go to a federal building or a courthouse today. If you're supposed to be in the building, you walk in the building. Right? Well, on the outside of the building, there's words up above written in Latin. You might have missed that. You just might have missed that. I didn't miss that. Okay? Why is it written in Latin? Because it's not for you. It's not for you to understand. You know? Why did China write in Latin? You know? It was not for just anyone. It was for them to understand. Why do you use a language, even today, that is gone? They don't even want to teach in school. They don't want to teach cursive writing because the Constitution is written in cursive. They don't want you to know some things. There's a secret language, a secret communication going on all the time. There are people that use words in speeches and stuff like this that's not supposed to be for you. They're not talking to you. They're talking above you. They're talking over your head. But I see it, and I know it, and I understand it. Not because I'm highly intelligent. I'm not stupid. That's for damn sure. But it's not because of my intelligence. It's because I was shown how. People, you can be shown how. You know, you need to learn Latin. Start learning Latin, what you can. But at the same time, it's not just that. They're hiding things in plain sight. Let's see. I think it's easy to see who was involved by looking at what happened after he died and who was in power and who gained more power. It's not just that. You know, each president that has ever been president has tried to talk to us as people. symbolism too. Yeah. Um, they've tried to talk to us, but they can't. They just can't. Everything is a matter of national security. Everything. But at the same time, they really, really, really want to tell the people something. Look at the speech. Look up the speech for the warning about from the president about the military-industrial complex. Look at Kennedy's speech talking about secret societies. They're trying to talk to you, but you have to want to hear it. If you just took a secession, I'd like to do a video like that. I don't have video editing software on my laptop that I've been meaning. I've got one it's in a file. I have an older computer. What I need is a newer laptop with some video editing software on it. But and probably a better camera and some cards. But anyhow, if you took a video and just took clips of presidents speaking, they're not speaking to the government. They're trying to talk to us. Like the fireside chats, only different. And they have speech writers, but when they speak on their own accord, they don't make grand speeches like speech writers give. So you have to learn the difference between a speech that's written by a writer that's making millions of dollars to write good speeches. Okay? And when they're speaking from their heart and trying to warn the public and educate the public, but you have to be educated in how to read it, how to hear it. You have to read between the lines, because he's not allowed to tell you but so much because it's against national security. But he's really in his heart, he's like, man, the people should know this stuff. I really want to tell this stuff. And every single president felt that way. Every single one of them. Every last one. So if I'd like to take a video and compile all of the presidents trying to talk to the people, trying their hardest to talk to the people, in the moments when you might not make sense of it. If you listen to all of them together, it will all make sense, and one will go into the next, and you'll hear the full message. It's almost like they're all singing a song, but they're all singing one part of the lyrics and then the hook and then the what. Each one of them is trying to talk to the people. They really want to get it out, but they can't. So they're saying, well, I can't tell you much, but I can tell you this. You know, that's what you want to hear. And if I put a video together and put all of them talking, all of the speeches, and chopped it up, not to make it out of context, gave the full speech, but put one in succession, this president, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, they're talking to us. They want us to be educated and to understand and to read between the lines of what they really want us to know as a nation about what's going on. But they can't tell it, but they kind of want to tell it, and they can't. Just like the Kennedy thing, I know it, but I can't. Until I know for sure that they're not trying to take people out for really putting it out, I just can't talk about that. But like I said, but I can tell you this, you know, there shouldn't have been the smell of smoke at ground level. Anybody that's ever shot a gun knows that. The bullet travels, the smoke stays. Do you get that, people? But that's not even the proof I'm talking about. That's just one proof that is already let out. If they let this other proof out, I could talk about it. Or if they would tell me I have permission, I could talk about it. Do you see what I'm saying? So those presidents are trying to speak to us. It's like when Trump said, I'm giving you your country back. If he's giving you your country back, that means previously it must have been stolen from you and someone else had it. Do you see what I'm saying, people? Each single president is really trying to talk to you, but you got to get it. You have to understand it. You have to look and see, well, how come that's written in Latin, and what does that mean? What's the message that somebody was trying to chisel in stone? and put there forever. You know, maybe that who's running things, those people speaking this language. Maybe it's the Rosetta Stone of it all. You know, so I got some comments here. Let's see here, secret societies. That'd be a great. Yeah. So like I said, and I could do that. I could easily, like I said, I'll get some software and I'll put something together. I want to put the president speaking from the industrial complex speech to the secret society speech, onto even Clinton, Reagan, especially Reagan. Did I say especially Reagan? Yeah, you should listen to some of his speeches. He even said, when someone comes from someone comes up to you and says, "I'm from the federal government, we're here to help," he said, "Run." That's our president talking to us. Run from the. Listen to me, people. They're trying to talk to you. They're trying to speak to you, but they can't. For matters of national security, the president can't. But they're like, "Oh my God, people should know this. People should know this." They're dying. It's killing them. That's why their hair turns gray. Just saying. That's why their hair turns gray. They're about to pull their hair out. They're like, "My God, why don't we?" Well, so Trump's trying to give our country back to us. Why? Because it was previously stolen. But he can't talk about it. Who stole it? The people that were running stuff and running all kinds of stuff, running bad things. Listen, they're trying to speak to us, you know? Oh, here come the black cars. No, I don't know who this is, but I ain't lying to you. Something's going on. Yeah, turn around. I see you tagged. No, it's somebody from the front. Just turn around the back. It's not normal for cars to be back here. Cars come back in the back. People start raising eyebrows. So there was a car. He turned around. He went back the other way. Went to the front. But it did have some tinted ass windows on that car. So, yeah. So, yeah, you know, the people can't even talk about this. But it's like, we're trying to send messages back and forth at this point. It's smoke signals. Look, they did that in the Midwest more than anything. I'm Cherokee. I never learned any smoke signals. All I know is smoke means there's a fire somewhere. So there's a fire. They're trying to tell us about it. Each individual president. Boy, like I said, the best thing for you to do until you can see a video like that is to look at Reagan's speeches, and then look at the one from Kennedy about secret societies, and then look at the one from I believe it was Eisenhower, but talking about the military-industrial complex. Look at the ones from Patton. Okay, it's my understanding that they took his brakes out or something. No, the car. Well, the car hit him. Yeah, so he survived wars, and then a car hit him. Whatever. He was going to be making speeches everywhere. The speeches everywhere is the dangerous part. So that's why, you know, yes, we have freedom of speech, but then there's the whole security thing, right? Well, you know, so each president is talking about that. I listen to Trump because I'm listening for that thing that they're going to edit out later, that you can find and that you can archive or whatever. And when he said, "I'm doing this for you, I'm giving you your country back, this is your country now," that's what he means. Someone took it from you. Okay, he's righting the ship. We've been trying to right the ship from below decks for a long time. Stick an oar in the water, make it go the other way so you don't hit the rocks and everybody don't die, right? Especially the ones that are chained below, that are rowing like hell, right? Well, he's changing things from up above, and he's making it better. And, you know, regardless of whether you like him as a person or this or that, or people have different political ideals than him, or look at what he's doing. The proof's in the pudding. Look at what he's physically doing. Look at what he's done. So, yeah, but I'm like I said, before I can talk, see, he can talk, and he's got Secret Service to take care of him. I could talk, and then a drone, bam. I don't know. That channel got deleted. This guy's gone. I ain't heard from him. Anybody heard from Chuck and stuff? I'll be a whisper in the wind in 5 years. Everybody know, hey, there was a guy. I forget that. Okay, what else was we talking about? I'll be a whisper in the wind. Yeah, so I would like to put that out there, but like I said, they got to show me proof, and I'd like to have proof in my hand. I'd like to have it. I would. You know, everybody wants a certain book or paper or this or that. I'd like to have that. There's a few things. I'll make a list. If I ever meet anybody that's got enough money to take care of that kind of stuff, say, hey, while I'm trucking, get me this, 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 and this. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Make me not a bucket list, I'd like to have list. like to have this, like to have that. I don't want Marilyn Monroe's diary. I think they burnt that. I don't want, you know, this and that and this and that. Yeah, but the proof on that, I'd like to have it. You know, even if I kept it just for a few years. Yeah. So, but we got to listen to when they're talking, because a lot of times they're talking straight to us, but they talk in riddles and rhymes and almost in parables, like Jesus spoke in parables because he didn't want, it was not for the people of his time to understand that they might stop him from dying before he was to go on the cross. It was for people afterwards to understand that he knew, and he's like saying, you know, I know that you know that I know that kind of stuff. Well, the speeches from our presidents are telling us stuff. They're like, I'm going to get this out to the people, and the people who are looking will find it. It's for those who have eyes that can see. They're absolutely trying to talk to us. But you really have to be willing to listen and to read between the lines and to understand that they're trying to convey a message that they're not really allowed to tell you, but they can say it in a way that you're going to understand it if you're looking for it, if that makes any sense. So, you know, draining the swamp, that's part of it. Giving us our country back, that's part of it. He can't just get up there and say, when I'm elected, I'm going to fire all these people that have been doing this and this and this that's dirty, and there's some people doing some funky stuff that's, you know, we've got proof of it and we're going to nail them, but the government is slow and it takes time. No, he just says, I'm going to drain the swamp. Well, because if you want to have anything, built anything, you got to drain the swamp first. You know, he's a builder. He builds stuff. You can't build on a swamp. First, you have to drain it, get the rats out, and then you have to dig down deep enough and put pilings in or something so you have something to stand on and rebuild. But yeah, like I said, the speeches that they give would be a good compilation, good video. I appreciate the likes. Got like 7 likes. That's cool. 4 in the room. People chilling. Let's see what we got here. Trump knows what's up. I really wish he would just tell the truth about everything. What is that now? Get Alex on it. I have no way of getting in touch with Alex. I have no, how do you find somebody in time? How do you find some? I got nothing. I got no control over that dude. Nothing. I got nothing for you on that. So yeah. Ooh, I should have asked for that. I did not ask for that, but I don't think that could be. I don't think that could be gotten. He wouldn't understand how to get it. He's got broken English anyhow. It's kind of difficult. He wouldn't understand exactly what I'm looking for. And they here's the problem. They were scouring the earth trying to destroy evidence at that time, and they did. So a lot of it was destroyed. But some of it still exists. I know. I saw it when I was a kid. So I'm telling you it exists. And I've found it in other places. And there's some evidence in England. So if I can get the evidence from England and I can get it to match up, and especially if I can get the evidence from here, I'd have a little something. That'd be a book right there. I could write a book on that. I don't have time for a book. But people would believe it immediately and know it to be true. It's one of them things where it's like, you know, you already know it. You just don't know that you know it. You just don't understand what you got in front of you. Somebody could put, you know, a car in front of you and you're like, oh, that's a nice car, huh? Yeah, it's kind of a nice car. And then later you read in a magazine that someone just paid, you know, $5 million for a special, you know, car that, you know, James Dean owned, and then the engine went somewhere and then the car was somewhere else and they rebuilt it and now it's riding around. Oh, that was that car. Holy crap, I didn't even know. It's like that. You know it. You just need someone to tell you what you really know existed or what you remember out of your history that was there. And you'll be like, oh, that did happen. Okay? Just like the Secret Service getting off the back step of the car with their hands out, going, what the hell? Why are we getting off the car? It's that kind of stuff. But they've erased that from videos too. You won't see it. I wasn't even going to talk about that. I'll bring that up later. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. But the proof that I'm talking about is completely different. That's proof too, but the proof I'm talking about is completely different. It's hard evidence. So yeah, they tried to cover a lot of stuff up. They don't want people to know, but the presidents want you to know. But they can't tell you. And it drives them crazy, and that's why they have gray hair when they leave. Other than all the stress and lack of sleep and all the bullshit. I hope our president gets a lot of sleep, because you need sleep for this coronavirus thing, and you need sleep for doing your job. And they probably run him ragged. I hope he don't let them. He's on top of that media crap, though. He don't let them. It's funny. He puts them together in chairs, and from day one, he knocked them out of the biggest room to the smallest room in the White House. People don't know that. They don't talk about that, but that's what happened. That's hilarious. Like a bunch of kids, like, no, you don't get that room. You get this little room. Then he had them outside, and then he put their chairs back together. Okay, y'all want to say it's over? Great, you can sit together. He's hilarious. Oh, he's funny. And then he's like, nope, no more of talking to the press. You can catch me when I'm on my flight to wherever. That's great. So you want to ask me questions, you can walk with me and work with me. You know, it's funny. It's hilarious to watch. He's a riot. You just got to understand what he's really doing, and it's funny then, you know. So they're trying to talk to you, people. Watch when he's talking, because they delete a lot of his stuff, and a lot of the news places try to glance over it and don't want to show that part. So let's see here. Make the puzzle. Yeah. I'm drinking a chocolate milk and having a cigar. And every time you see a car come up on the lot, especially when you're doing something like this, right? It's like, what's going to happen now? Of course, they could always drop in with helicopters and rappel down off a rope. I mean, you know, it's not like they need a car. They have stuff. Or just drone me, right? But no. But like I said, I'm not saying anything that hadn't been said. And that's, like I said, if I could, I think that the world should know. But I could say it and it would be believable and it would be understood, and it would be, some people would remember it and say, oh, that is true. Well, I want the proof first. I want it in front of me. When I have it, and I will get it one day, at that point in time, no one will be able to refute it. You can't change it. It's kind of like written in stone. So there is proof that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone. And it's not even about who all was involved. It's just about the fact that it was a conspiracy. And that part was covered up. And they only show Congress what they want Congress to see. They proved that with the Lincoln assassination. And I've already proved that they did that with the Lincoln assassination. And the FBI proved it. That they changed the diary of John Wilkes Booth before they handed it to Congress. And then the person that handed it to them lied and said, nope, it was not altered at all. That itself is a conspiracy and a cover-up. So it was a coup d'etat, but that was from a different country, which was the South, if you call it that, but they had surrendered through Lee. But you get the point. That proves that they cover stuff up. Well, and that they only show Congress what they want Congress to see. Congress thinks they see everything. That's why Trey Gowdy was so pissed off. He's like, what the hell are you trying to cover up? And we're supposed to be seeing everything. Congress is supposed to see everything. Congress sees what they want them to see. That's the truth. That's why they like the whole Anon thing. That's why they say there's an army of digital soldiers. Because it can be found on the internet. What I'm talking about, you even start looking on the internet and it might be some trouble. And I don't think, in any way, by the way, I have looked and it does not exist on the internet. Just so you know, it does not exist on the internet. But I would have to look on the internet to find where it is at. And that alone would be a red flag. like a red flag book in a library. So the people who know now, yes, I know about the red flag. So they know, and they'll understand, oh, he does know. Yeah, so there's that. I just want to walk into the Library of Congress. I need like an hour there, but I really like to spend all day just for other stuff. I can make a list of stuff, but it's not incriminating to a certain person. It's just proof. So if they'd let me do it, I'd do it. But you want to talk about fear? That's something in this. That I don't think there's anything I'm afraid of on this planet except that. If it makes any sense, you know. If I ever had to be on the field of battle, let's do it. But that, knowing that, you know, all of a sudden you're prey, that's not good. Prey's not good. It's good to pray, but being prey is not good. So, mm-hmm. This is a good cigar. I lied though. It's an okay cigar, but I say it's a horrible cigar compared to the ones that they have at the cigar shop. But even a bad Macanudo is okay on a bad day. On a good day, a good Macanudo is better. I gotta find a cigar shop. I need a cigar shop, and I need to visit the Library of Congress. There's that. So let's check out some comments here. Learning about the crazy Russian ham channel. Yeah, okay, so that happened. They're messing with me. God, dog. I didn't do anything. All I was going to do was scroll up for a comment. Something happened, it sent me into a different part of YouTube, and there's nothing on my screen that does that. People, they're messing with me right now. I'm being for real. I ain't making this shit up. Let me roll down my window. I got my truck starting to get a little smoky. God, dog. Let's see, put it right about there. Man. Like I said, you start talking about the good stuff, that's when you start getting the censorship, the shutdowns. Kick me off as soon as you were ready to read my dang question. What was the question? I done missed it. See, maybe that was it. Let's see. Let's see here. There's a question. Let's see, I really enjoy. Hold on a second here. It was it. Ask the question again, because for real, I don't see it. Listen, I'm telling you, people. See, that's why I'm like, I don't want to say. Yeah. That whole Kennedy thing, yeah. They've got to still be covering it up, you know. They got to be. So, about the Russian ham radio. Well, I just see the comment about it. I don't see the question about it, but yeah, yeah, and see, people don't know about that. You know, that, like I said, that's obviously something that's factual and true, but they're not trying to teach that in school. They don't want you to know but so much. They need to make you so that you're productive and you can work for a company. That's it. School is not about education. It's about indoctrination. It's about getting you set up so that you will hit a time card and that you're smart enough to do what they want you to do, but not so smart that you'll invent something. And if you do invent something, they want you to sign a non-disclosure agreement or a right to whatever. I'm sorry. What is the agreement where if you invent something with a company that they have all proprietary rights to the patents on it? So they can patent your idea and take whatever it is and use it further in their company. You don't own that. Okay? I can speak about this. I know it to be true because I've known people who it's happened to. And I'm like, that's wrong. They should give you the patent for it and they should pay you. You should get the patent or whatever. And even patent offices is I think rigged right now. I think if you go and try to apply for a patent There's all these companies that can buy the right to be able to make it their patent, and then they take that idea and steal it from you. And something just happened with the live again. Something weird with the numbers and stuff. Like, I don't know what's going on with this thing. You start talking about real ass stuff, man. Like I said, they want to go into sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? They want to sponsor you. So, but as far as as far as the Russian ham radio thing, yeah, that's real. They just don't teach it in school. But as far as, but I didn't know about it, and Alexander told me about it. So that, look, and you can say what you want. That's not theater. That's real. Stuff I'm talking about may be hard to swallow, may be hard to believe. I'm fine with that. I just told you about the Lincoln assassination that you didn't know about the other day or whatever, about, but you couldn't have. There's no way, you know, about that that the family helped him, helped to hide John Wilkes Booth. Well, you couldn't have known that, but you could have known that he escaped and went all over the place and had a family, but they don't teach that. They didn't know about the family part, but they don't want to teach that, even though there's people in Oklahoma that swear by it, and there's even a hotel out there that you can go and visit that their claim to fame is that he died there as an old man. Okay, so there's real stuff that they don't want you to know. They just want you to be a worker ant. You know, it's like, why can't these people just be dumb and live a dumb life? It's because we're intelligent, just as smart as they are. They have led themselves to believe. See, this is what blows my mind. This is what really blows my mind. Do they not think that their granddaughter and great-granddaughter is going to have someone, or grandson and great-grandson is going to have somebody to marry? Do they not think or know that they can't rule the world themselves, and that their kids are going to have to marry someone? So when they put stuff in the atmosphere and chemicals in stuff in the dirt, and they do whatever to food and stuff, or whatever they do that, you know, might kill off people later or change their DNA. Do they not understand that even for their own family line to exist, they can't just intermarry families? That's why you wind up with sickle cell. That's why you wind up with people who have mental retardation. That's why you wind up with all these defects. It's been proven in all kinds of different families that have tried to intermarry that you wind up with people who are mentally challenged. Okay? They're going to have to marry off their children to people who might have come from poor people. And truthfully, that's the best genetic stock, because the rich people have been intermarrying and their DNA is all jacked up. That's the truth. So, if you look at it, why would they want to keep people stupid when, or not educated, undereducated, when their children, great-grandchildren, great-grandchildren are going to eventually have to marry those people in order to have diversity of DNA in their gene pool, and in order to not have retarded kids, or they'll just all be intermarrying and doing the same stupid thing over and over. So do they not realize it affects them if they keep the general populace uneducated or undereducated? That's what's always blown my mind. Do they not know that aerosols affect them too? Or how dumb are they? Maybe they are retarded already. Like I said, just because they're so-called chosen or here or there in different positions, that's nepotism. Doesn't mean you're the best person for the job or the most intelligent in the country. It just means that your great-grandfather had this and this and this, and that's why you're where you're at. There are a lot of unintelligent people in offices they should not be in. You know? And that is the swamp. That is the swamp. You know, there's some smart ones up there too, but they recognize the ones that shouldn't be there. So, let's see here. Yes, they use you. Patents. Did you know that Hillary Clinton was a patent lawyer? I think she's a has a bunch of patents. Probably just got them, like you said, just took them. Yeah, yeah. Well, they took Nikola Tesla stuff and they didn't, give him any credit for it. David Rockefeller, 7 heart transplants. LL. Yeah. How about this? I wonder if David Rockefeller's heart came from China, from the Uyghurs, because they have a way of finding you a good heart transplant match to a person that's in good health because they're still alive, and then they kill them and they use their organs. Let's see. They all married within the elites. Look at who Nikki Hilton married. Look at who Chelsea Clinton married. I heard that they paid somebody to marry her, but I ain't gonna say that. But I didn't say that. Let's see. I lived in China. It's very real. Yeah, it's very real. They got doctors coming out talking about that. They got people in prison, and the first thing you do is test their blood and test to see if they're matches for organ transplants. And they just did a double lung transplant on an old person with that COVID stuff. And where'd they get the lungs? Immediately. It takes months and months and months, and there was no car crashes, so there was nobody to die in a crash. That's what people in China were saying, is if there's no car crashes, how is it that you got people that die that quickly that you can harvest their organs? No, they're killing them. Of course they've been killing them for years. So that's a whole nother country with a whole nother set of problems. I can only deal with the one we're in. But yeah, it makes no sense. It doesn't make sense what they do, that they want to dumb down the public. They want to go with that idea that they call us useful idiots. That's their words. Okay, we are the deplorables. We're the highly intelligent, but we're deplorables. So they think that they can keep us unintelligent, and they think that that's an idea to rule people, is that if the people don't know better, then you can rule them strictly. The truth is, if you do that, you wind up with those people building America, starting Australia. You that's what you wind up with. History has shown that if you treat people in any kind of way, something different than how they should be treated, it will turn around that you will lose those people, and they'll start their own damnation. Yeah, right, pretty much. Yeah, and I don't want to talk about certain people, but yeah, we won't talk about that. About the maid with the we won't talk about that. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of crazy in itself. Man. Sometimes I just sit back and laugh about the things I already know. You know what I mean, people? If I could put my brain on the internet, oh God. Like I said, it's what I'm working on. It's what I do. But if I could put everything I know on the internet about, things that they don't talk about, it would be, people would look at that and look at these people sideways. It'd be like finding Anthony Weiner's laptop, with the insurance policy on it. It'd be like that, but thankfully we have people that are telling the truth, and that are working to get the truth out. Like Trey Gowdy did a good job with the whole Benghazi thing. You can only keep an intelligent populace down for so long, and they will invent their own damn computers, and they will invent their own damn internet. It's only a matter of time. Right now, this is a molasses drop in a bucket of time. but eventually all of the molasses in the bottle will be in the bucket. So the truth is they need the most intelligent people on this planet to get off this planet. We're on a planet that in a matter of time, our star, our sun, is going to implode or explode, either way you want to call it. It's going to expand. And it's going to make life on this earth inhabitable. We need another planet. We need to find a way to get past the Van Allen belt. We need a way to get our people off this planet and onto another planet safely with a younger star. We need a younger star and another planet. At some point, they're going to have to let us run freely and lift us up instead of putting their head on our neck, or their knee on our neck and their foot on our head. And they're going to have to let us become as intelligent as we possibly can, so that instead of having to have one Einstein or one Nikola Tesla, we can all work on the problem of getting the hell off this planet. Because we are slowly boiling to death in a bucket of water. We are the frogs, but we have to be smart enough to become like rabbits that would jump out of the pot. So eventually they're going to have to stop trying to dumb us down, or they're going to find themselves burning up, like in time. Their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchild is going to die in hellfire from the sun if they don't allow the people today to become intelligent enough so that we can get off this planet and get onto another one with a sun that has not exploded yet. That's where I'm at on that. So if they think that they're hurting or helping themselves by keeping us unintelligent, the truth is they're hurting their own family down the line, because it's a ticking clock. You know, it's time's sand is going through our hourglass, and we have got to find another planet that's habitable before our sun explodes. So there's that. You got a comment here. Word on the street is Donald Trump's uncle John Trump was a part of the team that went to Tesla's notes. Journals and theory has it is still someone in the family waiting to release. Well, I'll tell you about Tesla. Okay, they want to try to make him out to be crazy, but they can't hide the patent where he invented. First, he theorized it in the same way that the Earth is rotating and creating a magnetic field. He theorized you could do the same thing in a contained device. And he built the electric motor. He invented the electric motor, and he thought everybody should have this. So he sold it for not a whole lot of money, but enough money to get him going, to Westinghouse, which I believe became General Electric, or I have those backwards. I'm pretty sure it's Westinghouse. If you look up the electric motor, Westinghouse had the patent and developed it and made a bunch of them. Every business, everything that has any kind of electric motor is Tesla's invention. So they can't say he didn't invent things. He was a genius. He invented the electric motor. It never existed before. Nobody else had invented it, and he didn't fight with a patent, or somebody else invented it first and he got the patent first. No. He was the only inventor of the electric motor. So that's why they named the Tesla car company after him. It's an electric car. Okay, Elon Musk named it because he knows. Well, Elon Musk didn't invent shit. Tesla did. So, you go further from there. If you go to Walmart, you can buy a charger that charges your phone through the air. They told him it couldn't be done. They have his patents. They have all his papers. They know it can be done. They just let it out to the public. And they have pads that you can charge an electric car on that does not touch the pad. So electricity goes through air. Even if you sit something on top of something, the molecules in that, it's not really touching. So really it's through the air. There's no plug. There's no plug for those chargers. So they stole his technology, and they've had it for years, and they just now released it in that patent to charge phones on those pads. But he also did sell his patent to Westinghouse, and they put out all those electric motors, and every electric motor you see anywhere, that's his patent that he sold to Westinghouse. So they wanted him to become nothing in history, but he rises back up. And he said it like this. Tesla said this. His words, not mine. He said, "My inventions are not for this time. They're for the people of the future." See, he knew that those people weren't even ready for what he knows, and that it would be released later, and it would help a later population, because it was not even like the charger for the cell phone. People didn't have cell phones then. They had no reason to charge anything. He knew it was going to be used later in time. He may not have known it was for a cell phone, but he thought a communication device. Okay? So he knew. He was smart enough to know he invented something that was good. It would help the world, but it wouldn't help him yet. He said his inventions are not for his generation, or even for anyone living at the time. It was for the future. So he told him, he says, "You may have this time, but the future belongs to me." So I'll go up here on some comments here. Oh yeah, what about the Wayfarer cameras? Did you hear about that? Well, yeah, I still believe in a higher power and heaven and hell, but while you are living, there is the ability to get off. They just don't know it yet, and they won't have it. Let's see, if they dumb us all down, they won't get it. Glenwood Springs, Colorado has the last Tesla hydrocoils that worked with the Colorado River. Pretty neat. Yeah, he burned up a power plant too, and he had to rewire them because he drained it, and it popped all the transformers, and him and his team had to put in new electronics and rewire the place, or they were going to I guess they were going to sue him or put him in jail or something for his experiment. He proved that you could send electricity through the air, but he put a light bulb in the ground and lit it up. He also had a car that was running off of a wooden box with two antennas that took electricity out of the internet, out of the ether all around us, out of the air, and it transferred that power to the motor in the car without wires. So he rode around with also a guy in the car. He had a witness. So he rode around all over the country in this electric car that was powered from the air, through the air, and had no wires on it, whatever, and showed it to everybody. And some people reported on it, and some were told not to. They were paid not to. So there's that. But then he got rid of the box because the way they were treating him. That happened in Colorado Springs. Yeah. So anyhow, I'm gonna get off this thing. I got some work to do. But the proof is out there. You just have to find it, and we have to become more intelligent as a people, even if the people above us are not smart enough to know that we need to be smart. You know, we need to create within our populace at least 1,000 Tesla level intelligent people for every 5,000 or 10,000 people, and we need to lift those people up and help them to invent things, or we'll never get off this planet, and we're just going to burn. We are a frog in a boiling pot of water, and right now it's on about 80 degrees. When it gets up to 500, we're all gone. It's a matter of time, and they know it. And I think the timeline's a lot shorter than they want to tell you. I think it's rapidly getting here. Our sun is not going to last as long as they think it will. And they can say millions of years this and that, but it's been proven that radiocarbon dating is ineffective and inaccurate. They've taken living snails and tested them as being millions of years old. They've tested lava, and it's said it was older than it was. Radiocarbon dating is not an exact science. It's not even close. And they've proven that there was a flood event, and that event with pressure made rocks to seem older than they are. I believe our sun is younger and our earth is younger than they say it is. And at the same time, I believe that the fact that we can see stars go supernova and blow up is just proof that ours will too. I think that we have less time than we think. I think they need to stop dumbing us down and lift us all up, no matter what it costs, to build a society that promotes intelligent children that can go further and not stress about food, not stress about clothes or money, but absolutely work on the problem at hand, which would be building not necessarily faster than light travel, but building a habitable craft. And they're going to have to map the universe and know which star to even go after and go fast enough before that star burns up, if that makes any sense. We're on the part of our galaxy. It could be within our own galaxy. It wouldn't have to be far, but it's still far, because even the arm on our galaxy is so far away from the other arm in our galaxy that it would take faster than light travel. We're however many light years away. So if we're, you know, a million light years away, it takes us, even at the speed of light, a million light years to get somewhere we're aiming at. You would have to have generation after generation on that craft. We got to build some intelligent people who know how to, well, they're going to have to bend time and space. It's doable. That sounds crazy. Just like cell phones would sound crazy to somebody before, but we don't promote the people to be smart. They're trying to dumb them down. And then when they get up there on screen, they want to act like they're stupid. Oh, you mean like swipe it, like with a cloth? That kind of shit? We know they're not stupid. We know they're intelligent. But we also know that they're not as intelligent as it takes to get us off this planet. Message retracted. Yep. So they're in a position of power, and they need to realize they're not in a position of knowledge. There's a difference. You can be in charge of everything and not know how it works. You could be the CEO of a plant that builds cars and not know how the cars are built. You just have to know how to talk to people and get contracts and how to move around things and acquisition the parts you need. And understand logistics of moving things. So you might take a tour of your own car plant and not know shit about it. And you might have to be educated and brought up to speed. These people need to understand that they're like that CEO. Yes, it's good that they're doing this job or that job, but they need to be like, Trump is smart. Trump's got people around him that are helping him, and he's smart enough to know that he's got people that are smart enough to know what they're doing, you know? Well, there's some people in our government that are not as smart as him. They need to go. Some people need to move into their place that are all-encompassing of people that are smart, and they need to start lifting the people up. And there needs to be no homelessness. There needs to be no poverty. There needs to be no hunger in our country, so that there's no stress, and so that people's minds will work in a way that they can invent what we need to do what I said. Basically, get us to the next star that's decent before this one burns up. Because once this one starts going, it's going to be too late. We can't just at the last minute say, we're going to send 5 people. It needs to be an ongoing plan. First, they need to build places to have trucks park. So Horsefly and me can have a place to park. Anyhow, I'm going to get off this thing. People, you take it or leave it. I'm just telling the truth, you know. Stay safe. I'm going to get off here. Hope everybody's doing good here at sea here. Thanks, good night. Good night. Yep. Y'all stay safe. I'm off. I'm out. Peace.